the walk. That's it. No, nope, earned run, which is stupid. But it broke his scoreless inning streak. He still went out there and pitched 4 more innings of scoreless baseball, sitting down Twins one after another, and then, tying his career high in strikeouts. He's getting swings and misses in these last 3 starts. I wonder, Sterling, these 3 starts, does it start to change a little bit, even if it's 1%, okay, if it's higher than 0.0, some of the optimism for next year, if you feel like, all right, they have Walker and Lugo. We know that. That's decided. We can complain about it, talk about it, mistake, right move. We'll find out if it was a mistake or the right move. They have those guys. I'm not expecting Noah Cameron to be, Greg Maddux. But does it change the optimism for next year if you feel like, all right, you got to find some starters, but you feel like you got 3 out of 5 that are pretty darn solid in Major League Baseball terms, not just solid for a rotation that sucks. Pretty solid for any rotation in baseball.
Yeah, Noah Cameron, again, you want to keep this going. Mm-hmm. If he gets shelled in one, you have to chalk it up. Don't say it's the norm, but then let's see how he bounces back, because we've seen pitchers go on good stretches before, but this does feel different. 23 innings. He has, 24 strikeouts, 1 earned run. 6 walks. I mean, he's been electric. This is the best he's looked. This looks like when he first got called up, Noah Cameron, but even then, he's pitching deeper into games. I'm all in on this. I'm not going to say he's a 2. I don't know if he's even a 3 necessarily, but he's trending that way. But I think if you have Walker, Lugo, and Noah Cameron for next year, you have your 3, 4, 5 settled. I would be intrigued to say you have a
2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4, with actually Lugo probably being your 4 at that point with what we've seen from him. I don't see Lugo being this. I don't see him bouncing back. I think the trend he's on is the trend that will continue, and you hope it doesn't get worse with Lugo. That's the guy I'm most concerned about. If you said, who do you trust more right now for I guess this year and specifically next year, Lugo or Cameron? I would say Noah Cameron. I'd trust him more than Lugo. Walker, I still think, is very valuable. Now, again, you have to always worry about the other shoe falling with his age. But again, it's not a guy that throws 96, 97, so that changeup should still play. But again, with Lugo, he never threw that either, and we saw what transpired. The walks are what's getting to Lugo. But yeah, Noah Cameron, keep letting him call his own pitches. Clearly, that's been the change that's worked. We talked about the opener for one game, for one start. But now we have the base.
Yeah.
The base is him calling his own games, and 74 strikes and 106 pitches is just efficient too.
Yeah, he has been he's been more than good. He's been dominant. And I was really worried about, was Noah Cameron a guy you can rely upon? And did the Royals, with yet another pitcher, miss the prime spot to trade him? Miss the max value to trade Noah Cameron? After his first year in the big leagues, looking like that, 6 years of team control still, move him because you feel like that's the highest it's going to be. Next year, if he's got a 4.5, you're not going to get as much in return. Year after that, a 4.5, we'll see. And that's what it looked like throughout most of the season. In fact, Sterling, I wonder if the Royals weren't so beat up, if the Royals, let's say there's an alternate universe where Reagans was healthy, Bubic was healthy, Bergert didn't go under the knife, Kolek didn't go under the knife. Does Noah Cameron make every start every 5 days for this team, or is he sent down to AAA to work on whatever's going on with him and not allowed to work on it in the big leagues? It almost feels like by default, the old JJ, somebody's got to pitch. I almost feel like this year Noah Cameron stayed in the rotation because somebody has to pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would have for sure been sent down. I don't know if it would have been earlier than this or not, but I think on July 19th, at a minimum. It was the final start before he started calling his own pitches. he went 5 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned runs. The start prior to that was 7 innings, but they just left him in. 5 earned runs, give 3 home runs. And at that point, we were sitting here going, yeah, he had that stretch of, 4 starts where it felt like he figured it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it completely reverted back to the nonsense that was earlier in Noah Cameron. I think he would have 1,000% at a minimum been sent down July 19th. But they had no one, so they said, you know what, call your own pitches. Let's try something in the majors.
First it was opener.
But yeah, first was an opener.
Let's try opener and call your own pitches. Let's do both.
Let's just no baseline. No baseline.
Let's throw 2 things out here and see if we can shock the system. And not only do you have an opener, you're calling your own pitches. I liked what Monty had to say yesterday when I asked him about calling your own pitches, and is this happening because of this? Is A equaling or leading to B? Was it coincidental? And if it's correlation causation, why? And what Monty said, and I thought it was really interesting because I hadn't thought about this. He said, when you're calling your own pitches, you feel more confident or more in command. It feels like it's more on you. Maybe you're more comfortable attacking, but also you're not getting on the mound and getting set up and looking at the or hearing what the next pitch is and then going, boy, really, slider? Is this what he wants to throw here? I mean, I could shake him off, but I'm not really feeling the slider here, but that's what he wants to throw, so let me throw the slider. Any indecision or indecisiveness in baseball, you're toast. And the difference being, I know what I'm throwing here, and I'm confident in it. It's what I want to throw each and every time. There's never okay, he's throwing cutter here. I'm not feeling the cutter here, but I'm throwing it because that's what I just got to get up there. All right, as Kevin Costner would say, clear the mechanism and just throw the ball, listen to the catcher. And this morning with New Day, Buster Olney talked about David Cone, and he said, what David Cone would always say, and it was no offense to the catcher, but he said that the catcher's irrelevant. I'm calling my game. I don't care what the catcher wants me to throw. I'm throwing what I want to throw, and I'll, shake off until I get to what I want to throw, but I'm going to throw. I'm calling my own game. You can't really do that until you had the pitch com. Now you can call your own game and immediately, boom, this is what I'm throwing, and I can get up there and be comfortable. It's obviously working for Noah Cameron, whether there's more ownership in the pitches, more comfort and confidence in the pitches, attacking more with the pitch, whatever it is, or a feel for what is working that night. Because I think they would talk between innings and know, like, hey man, I don't have the curve, which he doesn't really throw in anyway. But hey, the cutter isn't working today, or my four seam, I just can't locate it, or my slider, whatever it might be. Changeup isn't dropping as much, and I don't know. Maybe we go away. There's going to be conversations like that. But what happens in the middle of an inning if you get the feel back?
Yeah.
Well, now it's like, oh no, I feel the changeup now. I can be confident. Boom, go throw it.
That's what happened, I think, yesterday. His changeup's been one of his best pitches this year.
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working early, but it ended up working late.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where he just eventually found it. He threw 23 changeups last night.
Yep.
His slider, which he normally throws 10% of the time, he threw it 21% last night. And the slider was really good. And so for him, changeup wasn't working early, so what did he do? He pivoted and started throwing the slider more often because he felt the slider. His slider, he threw 22 of them. Again, that is double what he normally throws in any given game.
Calling his own game, the last 2 games, he threw a total of 27 sliders. He threw 22 last night. So calling his own game completely flipped, right? I mean, 27 sliders the last 2 games calling his own game. Last night, 22 sliders. Let's hear from Noah Cameron. He was asked by Annie Rogers about that. Like, hey, you were doing something a little bit different. You're throwing your slider a lot more. What's the reason for you going that route?
I think just a little bit just trying to throw harder, trying to just be as convicted and as confident with it as I can. Trying to throw for strikes early and trying to throw it in the dirt late. And I think when that pitch is on, I think it opens up everything else. I think it opens up the changeup, opens up the fastball a little bit. Thankfully, it's been working.
So it was also interesting him saying trying to throw it a little bit harder later on, because that's what I noticed last night. And going back to Baseball Savant to look at what was going on later on in the innings, as the innings progressed, and we talk about, pitching is all about upsetting a hitter's timing, hitting is all about timing. And early in the game, and I don't know if this is by strategy or if it just happens throughout the game for Noah Cameron. It would be interesting to hear maybe next time out if it happens the same. But what happens is these few starts, and I haven't looked at the starts before, but early on in the game, the cutter / four seam / changeup and slider doesn't have the wider gap between miles per hour. So it's like fastball to changeup or even slider or whatever is like 10 miles an hour difference. Pretty good in baseball. But I'd have to go and pull up the numbers.
I have it right here as far as his last start.
Last night?
Yeah, his first fastball was 91.
Mm-hmm.
His last fastball was 94. His last changeup was 80. So that's 14 mile per hour difference. When did he throw his first changeup in this one? It was 82. So it was a 9 mile an hour difference between his first fastball and first changeup. 9 mile an hour difference. His final difference between his four seamer and his change was 14.
Yeah,
hit 94. I mean, so you're right. There is and again, it could all. This is one start.
Yeah,
one small sample size, but there is something there.
Yeah, but his slider went from, as you said, so in the first inning, his slider averaged 83 miles an hour. Seventh inning, it averaged 86. His let's see, the four seam or the changeup was at 81. Then 80, then 81, and then 81 in the seventh. But he increased that. The four-seam fastball got a little bit faster, and the cutter got a little bit slower. So, I mean, but what I thought was interesting when he said last night, just throwing it harder. As the game went on, he was throwing that for more velocity, more break, while the changeup was slowing a little bit. And that was certainly the case on... Gosh, what was the game I was looking at, the previous one with Noah Cameron? It was, I'd have to go back. I think it was the first start against the Twins, where it was an even wider variance, where the cutter, the four seam, and then the change. The change was slowing down later on, but it wasn't everything was slowing down. The gap between the highest mile per hour pitch and the changeup was growing as the game went on, upsetting the timing maybe a little bit more. I don't know if that's by design, strategy, getting tired, or how you're throwing it differently, but I thought it was interesting him last night saying, well, I was just throwing the slider harder.
Yeah.
Which then was getting more maybe in the dirt and some swings and misses.
86 was his final slider. Yeah. 86. I mean, I don't know what to make of this because it's still only 3 starts, but this looks more like the Noah Cameron we saw the majority of last year. Not this good, but and he had a sophomore slump, and it feels like he's busted out of that. I mean, you look at it now, the overall numbers, 45 games started, 46 games total. Well, I guess, because he had that opener. So 46. Yes. So 46 games, 46 starts.
It always messes stuff up because you're like, well, there was a game he didn't start. I mean, it was a game that he was in, but like, okay, he had an opener. But to your point, I want to bring this up because I thought it was a good point when you're talking about the changeup, that he threw 24% changeups his previous outing and 22% changeups last night. Not much of a difference. But if you look at these 3 starts when he's called his own game, those first 2 starts, he got 15 swings and misses on the changeup. Last night, 3. So he was throwing at Sterling. It just wasn't effective. So I need to find a different pitch that feels good tonight. And that pitch was the slider. And it's not something he has thrown very often. In fact, his slider these 3 games that he's, and you mentioned it, on the season what he's done, but you're looking at 12% on the 24th, 12% on the 30th, and 21% last night throwing it. I'm becoming really excited about what Noah Cameron can be with this version of Noah Cameron. Like, you kind of felt like it was in there in spurts and certainly early on, but something has changed in him in confidence, demeanor. He's always sort of been felt like a bulldog, and he's a bigger dude, so it looks like he's built to go deeper into games. But this is a completely different level of pitching when you're talking about, 3 starts in a row, at least 7 innings, and 2 hits or fewer.
Do we think through 46 career games, he's a 3.64 ERA guy? Because that's what he is.
I think so.
Yeah, because I think the 2.99 was clearly probably the low water mark. I think 4.37 this year will probably be on the higher side. I think he'll have probably a season here that everyone does. You're going to have a season where you get shelled for 5 or 6 games. You end up with a 4.4, 4.5 ERA. It happens, right? I think he is more of his 3.64 ERA guy. And if that's the case, that's Michael Wacha from the left side.
But also Noah Cameron, if we're looking at FIP compared to ERA, Wacha's a 3.51 ERA, a 3.92 FIP. Lugo's a 4.41 ERA, a 4.3 FIP, roughly the same. Noah Cameron, 4.37 ERA, 3.7 FIP for Noah Cameron.
Yeah.
So what you can control, even this season when he's had his struggles, it's still a sub-4 ERA fielding independent pitching for him. So I'm getting more excited with now 3 starts. Again, we'll see the next start. His fourth start. It'll be another data point added in. But the decisions have been made with Wacha and Lugo. So I don't want to continue rehashing and going, well, this is going to be a disaster now. I'm hoping that they're right. Obviously, I want them to be right on next year. And if Noah Cameron can be this, it certainly means they're closer to being right with Wacha and Lugo if Cameron is this. Cameron, a 5 ERA, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Cameron closer to this guy means they're closer to being right on being able to compete if those 3 guys are durable, steady, and 3 times, every time through the order, you've got those guys, you got used guys, and then you got to figure out 2 of the other ones, whoever those may be.
Well, you got to
find
out I'm agreeing
Probably
with
need to
Jack
find
on
a number
this,
1.
a number 1.
Yeah.
And again, if Wacha's your 2, you're okay. I think he's more of a 3 heading forward, just based on the strikeout numbers and the age, the concerns.
Yeah.
But you got to find that one. You have to find that guy because you can't trust Cole Reagan that it'll be halfway through the season before he comes back. You just can't count on him.
Even when he comes back, 1, do you think he'll be healthy? And 2, will he pitch to a higher level coming off brace, UCL surgery? Not a full Tommy John, but they had, it's the brace surgery. It's a less of a rehab and how invasive the full Tommy John is. But, I mean, guys come back and it's like, well, he's trying to get up to speed in big league games. And next year is when he'll look like that himself. Okay, well, that's 2028, kind of what we talked about. So there's a part of me that's not even counting Cole Reagan's for next year.
No.
It's almost like,
how do you? Because
found money if he pitches close to what he was in 24 and returns next year. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. 2 other players that we've seen, not necessarily recently, but what's turned out to be a full quarter of a season and what they're doing. Can that offer some optimism for next year that maybe because they've been so bad, we haven't been giving enough weight or thought to a couple of players? Also, another running back signed a contract. Jonathan Taylor is inked. Jahmyr Gibbs will be the next one in line. We'll talk about those things. And then I think the bigger picture around Stephon Diggs may not be discussed as much as maybe it should be. We'll talk about what that ultimately means. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. Look, man, if you're out there and you are suffering from symptoms that could be related to low testosterone, well, then there's no need to wait around and see if you'll just magically turn back into the guy you were. I mean, look, you can be Ponce de Leon and find the fountain of youth, or you can find Heartland Men's Health. I don't know which one is more likely, but I'll tell you, I know exactly where Heartland Men's Health is. Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. Not sure where the fountain of youth is, but that's kind of today's fountain of youth because guys in their early to mid-30s start losing 2 to 3% of their testosterone production every year. Happens gradually. Before you know it, you don't feel like the same man you did in your 20s and your 30s. And not only that, Heartland Men's Health is helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, PDA, and more, all designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. Just simply schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. They'll do your lab work with you, have your results within 30 minutes, and then a licensed medical provider will review the results with you, discuss your options, help you make the decision together with the medical team. Cost of the appointment, $99. But that includes that medical consult, testosterone, and that PSA test that is so important for men. And if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of your appointment, it's free. 3 locations to serve you at Heartland Men's Health, Overland Park, Independence, between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. We'll hear from Steve Spagnuolo. We'll hear from Justin Fields, Nico Remigio, and Peter Woods. Hey, did you guys see that the Chiefs have a new quarterback in camp? Do you see this? No, I think we're going to be.
Is it Patrick Mahomes?
No, it's Mansour Delane. He's wearing number 5. It's a yellow non-contact quarterback jersey. It must be a new QB. He's there every day in the yellow. I think we'll be hearing pretty quickly from Spags. So we'll be heading out. It's a 10-10-10. And
yeah,
I should have. We should have. been aware that a 3 days with the pads,
Yeah,
and then
a little quicker.
You get out there and have an easier day, because I think I don't think Chris Jones was doing much today, so it was like a day off. It wasn't like Chris Jones and
how do you get fired on your day off?
How you get benched on your day? Here's Specs.
We're trying to be a little cautious with the shoulder blade. And I think you guys saw him. He was out there today because we only had shells on so he could protect himself. The other 3 days with the shoulder pads, it was just really being safe, right? Protect him from himself, because you put pads on, and if we don't want to set him back. But I did think he did a good job. You saw him in and out of huddles, getting everything mentally. Tried to keep the conditioning up. So hopefully, we'll see where we are tomorrow, because we put the pads back on, but that'll be Rick's call.
What do you need to see him do before, one game? I know you're probably from that.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we just haven't had the work. You go through OTAs and it's just helmets. So, and he hasn't had a chance to really, the thing he's missing right now is the continuity with a bunch of guys that are new to him. Everybody's new. So we're going to have to fight through that. I mean, before you know it, we're going to be lining up against Denver. So hopefully we can get him back quicker than we thought.
What did you think of finally getting to see Peter Woods in added practice?
Yeah. Now Pete's one of them thick, good-looking D-line. That's the way they're supposed to look, right? I think he's got a ways to go. I mean, some of these younger guys aren't really used to the way we do things. I'm talking about all the little things, running in and out of the huddle, all that stuff. And that's for all the rookies. And Pete's right in there with that crew. But when he does get his feet right, he does keep his pad level low. He's a pretty good football player. So it's our job to get him to do that every down, and hopefully that. And he's a willing guy. I like him. He's a smart, good football player.
Coach, is it easier playing inside than outside as a rookie?
There might be a little bit of truth to that, because we do, it's pretty well defined as what an inside guy does as a 3 technique or an A-gap tackle. But, we've got a few multiple things in there we're looking at. So I think Pete's learning some things maybe he didn't do before. And we'd like to find out what he can do. I mean, I believe in having as many versatile players as we can. So he'll get thrown in that same category.
Steve, were you able to have 30 consecutive days of padded practices in a row? Were you able to learn about this defense for the first time?
Yeah, I wasn't real happy with I think it was the second day we had a lot of downs that were 3rd and 1. That's a tough down defensively. The percentages go up, but I didn't like that particular day. I didn't think we did particularly well in the goal line. If I'm assessing the 3 days in pads, I would say we got a long way to go with our physicality and our violent play. And yet you're going against your own team. So, you got to play that game. But hopefully we can get enough of those snaps in the preseason games to see where we are.
We're going to go last 3. We'll start with Steve.
Steve, I asked Aloha Gilman about the DB room and getting adjusted. He said those guys are more quiet than he's normally used to. Shamari kind of seconded it and said that he was, that's kind of their personalities. Are you used to these guys being so quiet?
Well, I'm used to Shamari because I've been with him for a while. So I know that's him. And I don't think we don't want guys to get out of character. We had, B. Cook was loud and Trentwood chirping there. And, we had other guys, Josh Williams, and they were together for a while. They were comfortable. It's going to take a little while before this group gets comfortable together, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I don't know if the nature of who they are is going to change, the personalities. But, we got other guys. There are guys in the linebacker room and D-line. And I think Alohi will be that kind of guy. He's still learning the defense, too.
A guy that did show some emotion was Tyrann Mathieu. He was walking around here a little bit. What's it like having
Honey Badger.
Yeah.
Well, that hasn't changed, right? Yeah, no, it was great to have him out here. I think he's got to take off today, but I said he better get his butt back here. I like it when he's around. He brought back some of the old sayings he used to have when he was playing. He just reminded me of those years that I had him together. It was fun.
Steve, how much of this camp are you looking to Chris imparting wisdom on the rest of the guys on the D-line, and how much of that is different than maybe previous years, given how many young guys you do have on the defense?
Yeah, I don't know if Chris's role in that will change too much. I mean, he's more of an example leader. He's not a rah-rah. He's not. Now, I do know off to the side, he's in those D-line meeting rooms talking with the young guys, trying to, the so-called wisdom you're talking about, Nate. But I think guys just got to get in their own world right now and, get that tunnel vision and the job that they have to do, Chris included, and just see how this thing pieces together.
Coach Andy mentioned Felix getting more reps because Ashton's down and everything. He's one of those guys that maybe has some versatility. Where is he now compared to maybe what you thought he could be when he came in?
I think he's had a really good camp. I think he's fought these you guys know, you guys have been here. He's fought these injuries all the way through. Even when he was playing, I think he was hampered by. You'd have to ask him, but when I have my brief conversations, it feels like he's the healthiest he's been. He's been in the system now for the 4th year, so he should know it. I think he's had some pretty effective, productive plays. I'm hoping that continues. And listen, the blessing. Ashton, we need him out there too, but the blessing in disguise for Felix is he gets more reps. So hopefully it keeps being positive. You good? Yeah, thanks.
So there you go. Yes, Gelati with the hamstring means that FAU is getting more reps, and hopefully it is something that he's been hampered by injuries. We've heard that a lot with him, whether that's an excuse or reality. Here's Justin Fields.
Go for Justin. Just as the guy who's been in different team camps, what stands out about this one so far?
I would just say just how much the offense gets, just scheme-wise, formation-wise, plays-wise. I think it's good for us just to be able to, get all that info and then being able to apply it the next day. So I think it's good right now, especially for the younger guys who haven't been here, guys like me who haven't been here, just to kind of get all of that down and, be able to put it on the field the next day. So really just the amount of stuff that we get install-wise and stuff like that.
What were you guys trying to simulate out there with the different colored pennies today?
Yeah, it was more of a scout team day, but for the offense, we were trying to just, really focus on the details, the timing of, different routes, screens, and stuff like that. So really kind of a more chill day, but at the same time, you just got to lock in more mentally. So.
How many offenses have you run? How many offensive coordinators have you had since you came into the NFL?
2 in Chicago, 3, 4. This will be my 5th one right here.
How's this one compare?
It's a lot of different concepts. I will say this is one of the first offenses where, I think most of the teams around the league, they run similar concepts and stuff like that, but just the things that we can do within a concept, the different options a QB has, it really kind of opens up a little bit. And then I've also seen, different concepts that I really have never seen before. So, it's been awesome to learn from Coach Reed and Pat and stuff like that. So, I've been, blessed with a lot of knowledge as I've been here, and I hope to continue to grow.
Coach Reed's been kind of known as this quarterback whisperer. Can you sense that as you've been around here?
Shoot, he's been a coach for I don't know how long. So, just kind of how hands-on he is with all of us. It's been great. Like I said, I've been learning a lot since I've been here, and I'm excited to learn more. Especially, like I said, him and Pat. They've definitely taught me a lot. So.
Hey, we're not sure how much you guys can show, obviously, in the preseason, because considering the amount of concepts you mentioned, what excites you most about maybe showing what you can do within the offense here in a couple of weeks?
Really just getting on the field and getting back in kind of game mode, to be honest with you. Like you said, I don't know, how much Coach Reed plans on showing, but just, whatever we get, really just being able to, get back in real game time and kind of getting that feeling. And, it should be fun for, the guys that are going to get out there, and especially some new young rookies. So I'm excited to see everybody out there.
Continuity with the receivers, how long, where is your comfort level? You mentioned like you kind of had a couple of different stops. Do you feel it's starting to come together? And when do you feel like you guys are, have that link where you know where they're going, but you know where you're looking for them to go?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's gotten better, especially since OTA. OTA is the first time you're really throwing to them, but the more we work with them each day, especially me and us. I know Pat probably has a good fit with all of them, but the more reps I get with them, the more you can kind of see their tempo, their breaks out of routes and stuff like that. So it's been kind of good getting those reps, stuff like that.
We'll go last three. Sam, Matt, and Pete.
Justin, you mentioned a couple times Patrick just helping you with the offense in particular. In what ways does he do that?
Just anything, to be honest with you. Any question that I have. Like I said, he's been in this offense for 10 years now, so he knows every little detail of it. But just the different little details in each concept. Like I said, it's a little bit different to where I've been from. But any questions that popped up, he's explained it to me perfectly. So it's been great. Like I said, just learning from him, kind of him showing me the ropes and the different options we can do within each play. So.
How do you, I mean, quarterbacks aren't one size fits all. How do you feel like the coaching staff and everything like that has tried to adapt at least certain elements that fits your particular skill set?
I think right now, we're trying a lot of stuff, and then once it gets to that game point time, Coach Reed, he'll probably sit down with me and see what I like best, and I doubt he won't call a play that I'm not comfortable with, but right now I'm just trying to expand my horizon, like do things that I've never done before, especially just the amount of concepts, the amount of actions, the amount of just stuff we have within the offense. So I'm just trying to practice on that and really kind of emulate Pat out there, and just kind of continue to grow within myself and within my game. So yeah.
Coach Reed usually also pushes quarterbacks in camp to see what they can get away with. Do you, especially from the throwing standpoint, do you get that from him as well?
Nah, for sure. I mean, he's not. He doesn't want us to. Of course, it's always good taking completions as a quarterback, but kind of like you said, you got to see what throws you can make, see what receivers can make certain plays. So there's going to be a point in time or points in time to where you got to, just throw the ball up and see what that particular receiver can do. And, it's been a good, really doing that. And, a good time right now is to, throw those balls up or whatever, just to see what those guys can do. So, yeah.
Just similar question. We've seen you kind of do a bunch of QB keepers stuff. I guess how do you feel like?
What do you mean, like runs or passing stuff? Okay.
How do you feel like Andy has leaned into some of that part of your game just consistently?
I mean, I feel like we only put in a couple of them, but of course I'm used to it. I mean, I've been doing it my whole career, so I mean, yeah, pretty comfortable with all of it. So, yeah. Thank you guys, y'all.
All right, there's Justin Fields. We're going to hear from Peter Woods coming up next. And, boy, there was something that he said Justin Fields did early on in that I want to talk about and bring up as it relates to Patrick Mahomes. Here is Peter Woods.
Part of the aesthetic.
Finally get the pads on in the NFL practice and go at it, you guys.
Yeah, it was very relieving. I was very excited to be able to, get the pads on and actually play real football for the first time in almost a year. So it was fun.
What were the first lessons you've learned from this experience? Maybe positive or negative. That things like, oh wait, I need to work on this, or hey, wait, this is working pretty well.
I'm just always just kind of trying to find ways to get better. Just being very critical of myself. So I'd say I learned a lot. How important the little details are, footwork. Hand placement, just the little things in this league, can get you beat. It's not always about, raw strength, power, potential, and things of that nature. So, just really honing in on the little details is something that I think I've learned.
One-on-one drills, what have you learned about some of these interior linemen that you're going up against?
Everybody has their thing. Very, very talented players. I've been getting better each and every day, learning things about my teammates as well as them learning things about me. So that we can, go back and watch the tape together and figure out, okay, like, how'd you beat me here? How'd you beat me here? Just trying to figure out ways to get better from it all. That's the whole point of the drill. So.
Peter, we saw you off to the side with Chris a couple days ago. Just what do you value most about having that one-on-one time with him, maybe after practice?
I value it a lot. In my opinion, that's a future Hall of Famer that I have an opportunity to be able to get to learn from and play beside and play with. So, every opportunity that we've been given to, have one-on-one time together, talk through things and, bounce knowledge off each other. He's been super willing and, almost even initiating for that to happen. So, I'm very appreciative of him and who he's been in this process for me, moving forward.
Kind of a follow-up to that. What about Creed and Trey? Do they sort of pull you aside and, say, hey, you do this, it makes it harder for me? Are they giving you any pointers, or is there a little too much rivalry here offensively?
No. Probably every day, we talk in the locker room, just about, same thing I was just saying about the one-on-ones. How'd you beat me here? What did you see? Was my footstep that I moved my post foot? Just football talk, stuff that, is important for a defensive lineman to know about an offensive lineman. So at the end of the day, we can all be successful. We all got the same common goal. So, Trey being the best version of himself is best for me, and likewise.
What's it like for Coach Collier? How does he help you?
Oh, yeah, I love Coach Cullen. He brings the energy each and every day. Some days, we in camp. Some days, some guys not going to have it. He got it every day. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm very appreciative of him and what he brings to the table, the knowledge and the wisdom that he brings. You know, he knows a lot about this game. 30 plus years in. So yeah, I'm very appreciative of Coach Collier.
Like you've been bringing it every day to camp. Do you still feel like you have something to prove, given that you kind of slid maybe a little bit in the draft?
Yeah, every day. I mean, I wouldn't attribute it to the draft, but you know, that's just who I am. You know, as a person, just always kind of got a chip on my shoulder. Always trying to, like I said, just be very critical of myself. Every day I come out here, and I'm never really satisfied with how my day ends. You know, and that just helps me be better the next day.
Peter Spags' playbook has been known to be pretty tough. Where are you with like picking up concepts and things like that?
Oh yeah, I think I'm good. I generally pick up stuff like that pretty easily, you know, like on the defense and stuff like that. So hasn't really been a problem.
How much fun have you had putting on the pads in the last 4 days?
I've had a lot of fun. I mean, that's what football is about. So you know, I'm in there and we hitting, and it just feels good. You know, that's why I play the game, so I can be physical, be violent.
Let's go, Pete, and then Nick, and then Nate.
This is an off the field question. Mason mentioned that you're a very good singer. I guess, can you just tell us a little bit about how you developed that?
I don't really know if it was like a developmental thing. It's just something that I kind of grew up in. You know, a lot of my family members are singers and kind of up and coming in the music industry. My brother and my sister and my dad kind of cultivated that in us, you know, kind of growing up. And so it's just something that I've always had and been able to use. I don't know about saying too. You know what I'm saying? Like he probably caught me in a note or two, but you know what I'm saying? I don't think I sang to him, but he'll definitely like cut the radio down and be like, "Hold on, do that again." So, it's good. It's fun and games.
Yeah, Peter, since you've been able to have pads on for 3 days, has there kind of been like a favorite moment for you since you've been able to contact again?
Favorite moment? I'm not sure there's been a favorite moment. Just every day, you know, just taking it day by day for real. For every moment that I get to hit somebody is a good moment. I'm a defensive lineman. I mean, I hit somebody every play, so I'd be pretty happy generally.
Okay, Matt, and then Nate. Go ahead.
Hey, Peter, there's a lot of talk about the fact that Clemson asked you to do a lot of things last year maybe you hadn't done before, playing a little bit heavier weight. When you look at it now, I mean, how does where you feel now, maybe physically wise, weight wise, and what you're being asked to do, maybe compare more to 2 years ago at Clemson?
I think, you know, it's just kind of dependent on, you know, what Spags kind of sees for me, and you know, how he wants me to fit into the defense. I think that I'm able to do, you know, everything that I could do 2 years ago. It's just about how much they want to put on my plate. You know, like I said, I think I do pretty well, you know, with the install and stuff like that. But, you know, right now I'm just willing and ready to do whatever my coach, and he want me to kick the ball, I'm ready. I probably won't make it, but I'll do it. So.
Peter, there's so many new experiences when you are an NFL rookie. One of those is the financial aspect. Have you thought about what you want to do with like your first paycheck? Have you done something already that you maybe envisioned when you wanted to become an NFL player?
No, I'm just kind of letting my money make money right now. You know, I've had a pretty blessed college situation. You know, a lot of guys coming in. It's kind of a different landscape. So it allows me to just kind of be disciplined in that area and just not really worry about it for real. So.
Is that like one thing you want to purchase?
No, I wouldn't say there is.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
It is a different world when you got a first-round draft pick like Peter Woods that gets a lot of money. You're like, hey, what are you thinking about buying? He's like, I already came into a lot of money in college.
Yeah.
This ain't my first time having millions, so I've been down that route. Here's Nico Remigio.
Nico, your wife, I understand, is a pretty good track star. Did you guys train a little in the offseason together, and what was that like?
Yeah, every offseason, you know, we'll get some workouts in. You know, she was a 400 runner, so, you know, from an endurance standpoint, it's a little bit different, but challenges me in a good way.
Who's faster, you or her?
I get that question a lot, but I'd say in the sprints I got her for sure. But anything over 200 meters, 300 meters, she might give me.
You're someone that's had to grind for your role over the years. I guess what's it like to come into camp established as, you know, top returner and having big trust?
Yeah, you know, my mindset doesn't change at all. You know, I consistently stay in a place of having everything to gain and nothing to lose. You know, I'm a firm believer in that. And, you know, I stood up here in front of you guys last year and told you that my mentality was, you know, that undrafted free agent that barely got a shot to make it. And, you know, I'm scratching and clawing, and I stand by that. So that's where my mentality's at.
How do you stay grounded in that? Because it's pretty hard knowing that you've been here before.
Yeah, I think being grounded in your why, understanding why you do this, it's bigger than me. I do this for my family. I do this for my wife. For the future that we're trying to build for ourselves. So, and then most importantly, just the love of the game, right? Like, I'm a firm believer that, to be in this business, you got to love it. You got to love the grind. You got to love the process of it. And, I just really enjoy every moment of this journey.
Where are you trying to push yourself most in that grind, maybe this year, Nico, compared to previous years?
Yeah, I don't think there's one particular place. I think it's obviously expanding to try to get a bigger role on the team, getting some more reps on offense, becoming more of a factor in that scenario. And then most importantly, my role as a returner, just being the best returner that I could possibly be. And the goal is to be the best in the NFL. So that's where I'm at.
Nico, you mentioned your wife. Congrats on getting married in the offseason. Just curious, did you do anything different this offseason preparing for camp? When you've already been here, you've experienced this, you know what to expect, but do you change anything in the offseason to prepare?
A little bit. I would say it's knowing where to step on the gas in certain points of the offseason and knowing when to take a step back and recover and recharge and even mentally recharge. This being here in St. Joe's and training camp in the NFL and, the brunt of the season, it takes such a big toll, right? Mentally, you've got to be able to withstand the length of the season. And so I think I did a good job this year of again, keeping my foot on the gas where it needed to be and then also recharging when I needed to.
Okay, last few.
You always had a pretty good pulse on just where the locker room is. What did you notice just about the way the guys came back to camp this year, obviously knowing that last year didn't go the way you wanted it to?
Yeah, well, I think it starts from the top down. I think some of the changes that we made on the coaching staff has just been a phenomenal addition. Coach EB, Coach O'Shea in the receiver room, just really taking on a mature leadership coaching role. And, again, they've got their foot on the gas, every day, whether it's in the meeting room, whether it's on the field, every detail matters. And as a detail-oriented guy, I appreciate that and really respect that. And so, like I said, it starts from the top down, and that's the energy that you guys are seeing, on the field, even on a day like a 10-10-10.
You still feel EB's presence even when he's not out here?
Absolutely. And if it's not EB that's saying it, it's the coaching staff that's reiterating his, the stuff that he's saying.
Nico, you've been around long enough that you're the veteran of this group of returners. Do you have a mentorship role that you play with a lot of these guys? Do they come with you with questions and about your experiences?
Definitely, and I share where I can, and again, I feel like I'm still learning myself, right? Just this past year, obviously it wasn't the results and the production that we wanted from a special team standpoint, and so definitely offering advice where I feel like I can help out and provide value, but then again, myself just constantly being a student of the game and constantly learning and evolving with the different changes.
What's it like working for Chad O'Shea too?
Man, I really enjoy playing for him. It's nice to have that just a mature coach presence in the room, and he's hard on you, but he's also the type of coach that's going to pick you up and give you your flowers where they're deserved. So I really got a lot of respect for him, and again, just love being coached by him.
Okay, thanks, Nico. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there is Nico Remigio. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling, talk about a few things that we heard, what Spags had to say about a couple of the players, what Justin Fields said that stood out to me about the quarterback position, and Peter Woods talking about his role this year. We take a timeout. We come back. More Zone next. All right, wrapping up this out. We'll talk about the things that we heard from the Chiefs out at training camp. Ken Swanson will be our guest coming up at noon. A few things that we'll get into and talk about as well with the Chiefs. I want to discuss Stephon Diggs a little bit, heading to the Commanders. Another running back paid this morning, Jonathan Taylor. So Bijan Robinson paid, Jonathan Taylor paid. Jahmyr Gibbs will be the next up. And we'll see what he gets, probably closer to what Bijan got. But, I mean, it's closer to really, if you're looking at guaranteed per year and average annual value between Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor, roughly the same. It's a 1-year difference in a contract, so it's not going to be the exact same. But then looking at that, comparing it to Kenneth Walker, not the same running backs, but the contract they gave him. We'll get into all of that as we continue. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. An hour from now, we will talk with Ken Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Talked a lot of Royals in the first segment, then a lot of Chiefs there in the second segment. With the press conferences from Steve Spagnuolo, Justin Fields, Peter Woods, and Nico Remigio. I want to start off with Justin Fields, and then we'll get into some things that Steve Spagnuolo said about Mansour Delane and what he would like to see from him, and also asked about Peter Woods and FAU that we can get into and talk about. But something that Justin Fields brought up, and Justin Fields has not played in the most sophisticated offenses in his career. You know, he did play with Matt Nagy for a little bit, but then this is his 5th offensive coordinator. He had 2 in Chicago. Then he had the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, and then with Art Smith, and then the Jets, and now you've got this offense. So this is the 5th offense he has had in his career. This is the 6th year in his career. 6 years, 5 different offenses. So yeah, that's going to be difficult to constantly change over the verbiage, what the checks are, what the concepts are. So a pretty good guy to ask his thoughts on the different offenses and the 5 different offensive coordinators. And he said, you know, this offense, there's a lot of different concepts. He said, most teams run similar concepts, but, and this is what stood out to me because we talk about Patrick Mahomes all the time, and we talk about the quote-unquote help that Patrick Mahomes gets. And it's where the novice neophyte, as you would say, those that don't know ball, would look at it and say, I mean, Mahomes, how much help does he need? He's had Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, and he's had Andy Reid, and, you know, he was Patrick Mahomes was born not only on third base, but he was born with the ball, landing over the fence with a home run in the NFL. I mean, come on. But when we talk about things that they rely upon for Patrick Mahomes to do in an offense, I'm assuming there are a lot of other quarterbacks that have certain amounts of things that are on their shoulders, but Justin Fields in his 5th offense saying, most teams run similar concepts, but the amount of things a quarterback can do within these concepts is different. All of the things and choices that you make within each play. And to me, that's part of when you say, well, they're just putting everything on Patrick's shoulders. When Matt Nagy last year said some breather plays for Patrick.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, if you've got to play with inside of a concept and then you've got different things the quarterback can do inside of that concept and those plays, then every single play you are calculating and you are processing where the defense is going to be, where you're supposed to go with the ball, what step the safety takes, and quarterbacks do that. That's part of playing the game. But it also might be, here's the concept, here's the play, here's your read. But if there's different choices within also that, and Justin Fields is saying, yeah, but that's what's different, is the amount of things a quarterback can do. I think it speaks to when we say, can you give Patrick Mahomes some help around him? Offensive line, certainly. Running the ball, definitely. Just simply throwing the ball to a wide receiver that allows him to go and he picks up 20 or 30 yards because of, after the catch. Can he get some help there? Because they put so much on his shoulders. And I appreciated, Justin Fields talking about the 5 different offensive coordinators and this one standing out because of what the quarterback is expected to do.
I wonder if it's always been like this, if there's been a shift. Has it been the last couple of years? And that's why we've seen maybe a more, I don't want to say timid Patrick, but at times we haven't seen him maybe be quite as aggressive on certain situations. Is there too much going through his mind on the mental side of things, right?
Yeah. We've talked about breather plays. Give him some.
I think also, too, part of that goes into if there's the RPOs, multiple options. In the back of his mind, he's thinking, why the hell would I hand this ball off? I see a light box. No, I agree, I see a light box. I should hand this ball off. But if I hand it off, it's going to be 2nd and 9. And so he's sitting back going, well, I got to try and pass or I'll run it myself. Well, now you have Kenneth Walker. That decision on those specific plays should be easier now. Because I do wonder, he would never admit that. He would always say, oh, no, we trusted Pacheco, and he was a fine play, all those things. But you have to know in the back of his mind, he's sitting there going, if I hand this damn ball off against a light box, which I know I should do, he's getting 1 yard. And now it's 2nd and 9, and my life is harder. So I might as well try and run it myself, pick up 6. I might take a hit, but at least it's now 2nd and 4. He won't admit that, but I think that in of itself will make it so much easier. Is just having Kenneth Walker of saying, okay, I can at least trust him. He'll make the right decision. If it is a light box, I'm handing the ball off.
I think the play, it was last year at some point, it might have been the Denver Broncos game, where one of the first plays of the game, and Mitchell Schwartz broke this play down, it was an RPO, surprising, but it was an RPO, and it was thrown to Rashee Rice to the left side down the line of scrimmage, and he picked up 11 yards.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, nice play, get the drive started, right? And Mitchell Schwartz and other people were pointing, I think Mitchell Schwartz was responding to people because, and even I talked about it as well, that at that point, the RPO, the ball is being put in the chest of Pacheco, and the linebackers are backpedaling. Yeah. It's a light box, and they're backpedaling, not expecting the ball to be given. Of course not, because Mahomes is going to throw it, because do you trust Isaiah Pacheco? And Mitchell Schwartz's point was, and said, look, the read is to hand it here. Okay? You give the ball here, you've got the blocking here, you've got the seal right there, you've got this linebacker over there. This could have been a 20 or 25-yard gain. But then Mitchell Schwartz said, but an 11-yard gain is not the wrong decision. So look, you picked up 11 yards. So it wasn't the wrong thing to do. But to me, and I, he was just talking about the decision that was made. To me, I looked at it and said, the decision was made because, yeah, the read might be to give it to Pacheco. Okay, I can give it to him and him run into Trey Smith's back, or I can throw it to Rashee Rice that I trust a little bit more out in space to, maybe break a tackle, pick up a first down, get 9 or 10 yards. Maybe it sets up 2nd and short, or I can hand it off to Pacheco and he reads it wrong and he cuts it back for no reason, and the linebacker makes a tackle for 3 or 4 yards, and we're talking about where Pacheco didn't go. When you handed it to him, it was wide open. Why didn't he do this? Well, at some point, you got to go with what you trust is going to get the job done. And I think that was part of, like, when they talk about wide receivers, Sterling, that he's got the trust of Patrick Mahomes. We heard with Cyrus Allen, this, Patrick trusts him. And we've heard that with, other players. Like, Patrick trusts this guy. He's got the trust from Patrick Mahomes. Okay, that goes a long way if Patrick trusts this guy. Can't we also then take that a step further and talk about giving the ball to a running back in an RPO?
Yeah.
I mean, if he trusts receivers that he's going to throw the ball to, wouldn't he then have to trust the running back to hand the ball to him, that he's going to pick up more yards or do more damage than me pulling it and throwing it to this guy? And trusting that I'm going to put the ball in his hands, he's going to catch it, because I know what he can do. I think that's a part of it. And I would guess, with no evidence whatsoever that we'll be able to prove, but I would love to create the scenario of that exact play in that exact situation, only with number 9 lined up to his left. And he's putting the ball in the belly of number 9 and not number 10. Does he throw it to 4? Or does he just let 9 go?
Yeah.
I would love to know what that situation would be. And if there's as Mahomes said, well, if all else fails, just give it to K9 in the backfield. And I think there's going to be more of if all else fails, or this guy's on a heater, I'm just going to keep giving it. Mahomes ain't out there to prove that he's, that he needs to go and put up record numbers. I think he's at the point of his career where you win, you get to the playoffs, you do the things you're supposed to do, win Super Bowls. That's going to speak for itself. He's already had the 50 touchdowns at 5,000 yards. He's got 2, MVPs. He's got the most yards for a quarterback in NFL history, passing and rushing combined in that 2022 season. He's got 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Those things, legacy-wise, aren't really needed right now to then, in terms of record-wise, I mean, like the throwing and passing, which are the same. But the yards passing and the touchdowns, where it's like, no, he's the best quarterback because he threw 45 touchdowns this year. Okay, that's fine. I think Mahomes is more Super Bowls will define the legacy for Mahomes moving forward, not does he have another 50 touchdown season or another 5,000 yard passing season? Is he lead the league in passing yards? I think he'd like to be an MVP again or a couple more times. But he proved in that Ravens game a couple of years ago that it ain't about going out and being the hero and the reason you won. It's about finding a way to win the game. And that's what Josh Allen didn't do last year in the divisional round game. They talked about Sterling. He was Superman against the Jags, and he's going to Denver. And can he put on the cape to take Buffalo past the Broncos with that defense? The problem is they didn't need Superman in that game. They needed Clark Kent.
Yeah.
And he tried to be Superman, and his own folly was the kryptonite in some of the, not top 10 plays that he had.
Yeah.
He said yesterday? He said, if you keep knocking on the door's going to open. Problem is, last year, the door was already open. He just did not walk through it.
He just kept knocking.
Yeah, he just door's open. Hello, is anybody there? Door's open. I'm not sure what to do. I've been knocking here for a while, and the door never opened. I don't even have to knock. The door's already open. I'm not sure. Am I allowed in? Is he a vampire? He can't go.
It's a ruse.
He can't go in unless he's invited in.
They thought it was a ruse.
Maybe, yes, and now he's got his Suki, so maybe, I don't know if that's the case, but that's what Mahomes did against the Ravens. It's what Josh Allen failed to do against the Broncos, and I think it's more of in the mindset of where Mahomes is living because he's got the Super Bowls already, and he's got the legacy things. Allen wants to be the guy that is the reason they get there, but he was the reason they ended up losing. Maybe now it's just hand the ball off. I don't care. Let's get the win.
Yeah, I think Patrick's at that point in his career as well. The Ravens game, you're right. That one stands out to me for just a multitude of reasons, but that was the one that actually gave me a larger appreciation for Tom Brady. I always said that was one where I go, you know what? Yeah, Mahomes may have had better numbers, or Peyton, or Aaron Rodgers and all these different things, but when it comes down to, do you make the right plays in the right situations, game on the line? And Tom did, and Patrick did. That particular game called for him to play it safe. It worked. That's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, it's not 350, and that's why I think sometimes Josh Allen, which we just mentioned, I think Lamar does this as well. On the goal line, what's going to happen? He's going to take it. Eagles, Jalen Hurts, what's going to happen? Tush push.
Yeah.
Give him the ball. He's going to score the touchdowns. Yeah, the numbers look great. The numbers look great, phenomenal. Look at the touchdowns. Look at the yards.
I mean, Matt Stafford had like 40-something touchdowns, and he had 15 inside the 3-yard line?
Yeah, and it worked. It worked last year for them.
It's all about
but
scoring. No matter how you get in, score the ball.
It also can be a little risky, and sometimes just hand the ball off. Let the running back get the credit. LeGarrette Blount made a living of that with the Patriots for so long. It wasn't Tom trying to force it in on the 2-yard line. It was, let's just give it to LeGarrette Blount and let him just pound that thing in there.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Right. Yeah. And the Ravens game, and it's a great point about Tom Brady. Because, look, there is some criticism that have been thrown, like, oh, wow, he won the game 10-7. Wow, oh, yeah, Tom Brady really did it, cool. But there's also a part of being a quarterback that understands the game you're in. This is how you're going to win this game. And that's what we credit Mahomes for doing against the Ravens. Then it should be also given credit for some games that Tom Brady has won without putting up crazy numbers, but also without being the reason why it was a close game by turning the ball over or making dumb mistakes. This is how our team is constructed against this team, and styles make fights. And if I'm here throwing haymakers, this guy's going to box me to death. So that's not the game plan here with this team. And Mahomes did that against the Ravens because you have to understand what game you're in. For example, 2 years ago, divisional round Houston Texans with the Chiefs, D'Amico Ryans didn't understand what game he was in. He was in a field position game, and he kept going for it on 4th down at midfield, going for it on 4th down, going for it on 4th down. His defense was getting stops. That was a try to flip the field, make it easier on your offense, and he kept 4th down, go for it, 4th down, go for it, pass the ball, 4th down, go for it. He didn't recognize what game he was in. He thought he was in a Rams-Chiefs 2018 Monday Night Football 54-51, whatever the final score was in that game. Apparently that's the game he thought he was in. Mahomes and the Chiefs didn't think they were in that game against the Ravens. They were in a dogfight. They were in a low-scoring game. They were in a field position game. They were in a do not give up a big play to the Ravens defense. Punting is okay. Don't give them a short field. Our defense is answering the bell. You had some plays go your way, a great play by L'Jarius Sneed. You had the absurd throw from Lamar Jackson to Isaiah Likely in the end zone.
Yeah.
That was intercepted by Deion Bush, and people are saying was pass interference when the ball was thrown 10 yards short of Isaiah Likely. Pass interference for what? The ball wasn't ever going to make it there anyway, and Deion Bush had already cut in front and caught it. But that absurd decision by Lamar Jackson to throw that, you have to have some things defensively go in your favor. But if that's happening, you don't have to force it. You can keep playing the game. DeMeco Ryans didn't do that a couple of years ago. Josh Allen didn't do that last year. Mahomes has done that. And I think he's probably in his career more willing to continue to do that. And that's why I think we've talked about where I think it comes into play with Kenneth Walker even more. Where just simply rely on him to go and pick up some of those yards with a short box, which then can create better numbers on the outside.
Yeah.
And you don't have linebackers backpedaling on an RPO.
It's why I think it'll make the wide receivers look better.
Yeah.
I know it seems crazy, especially for myself being in this camp now, but I do think that Kenneth Walker, the run game, will allow Rasheed. I'm buying in on Worthy. Everyone seems to be out, and so now I'm buying stock. I sold stock when he was drafted. I was not the biggest Worthy guy when he was drafted, but now I think we've gone too far the opposite way. Now we'll see with the injuries. He was a guy who fought through a ton in college. Let's be real. He fought through a lot last year. I mean, yeah, he was banged up. That happened early. Unfortunate. It did happen, but that dude's tough. There's no denying at his size, that is a tough guy. Cyrus Allen, we'll see. Obviously, it's going to be a rookie, but it's hard not to get excited by him. Tyquan Thornton, I think will have a nice role this year. Again, I'm not saying this is we went through this before. I'm not saying it's a top 10, probably not even a top 15 wide receiver room, but I think it's probably around the 20s. You know, like top 20th, around there, right? 20 to 22, which if you have Patrick Mahomes and Kenneth Walker in this offensive line and you're paying big money to, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, you're not going to have a top 5 wide receiver room. It's just you can't have top 5 everywhere. It's just not feasible in the salary cap era. So you expect your $500 million quarterback to elevate the wide receivers. You expect the run game now to help elevate and alleviate the boxes that were, again, so light last year, which will in turn allow average wide receivers to look better. I'm in on the construction right now of this team on offense. I know tight end 2, 3, 4. I have my concerns about, but I understand the philosophical thought process they have. And now that we're seeing other running back contracts get thrown in here now, that Kenneth Walker deal is looking better and better.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's the same as Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs or Jonathan Taylor. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're paying $22 million AAV for Jonathan Taylor or $14.5 for Kenneth Walker, well, that might be better value, right, for the Chiefs to roll with Kenneth Walker. Maybe you disagree, but
when you're also when you're paying Mahomes the money you're paying Mahomes
versus Daniel Jones, who again is not. I don't think he's cheap anymore, but
or Penix and Tua.
Or Penix and Tua, right?
For Bijan.
You can afford to do that. Now, the Lions are a different situation. I'm sure that's where their struggle comes in because you're paying Jared Goff.
Yeah.
You paid Amon-Ra St. Brown. Aiden Hutchinson's on that team. You're probably deciding right now if we might be able to keep Sam Laporta.
Yeah. You've moved on from Montgomery for a reason.
Because you need to bring in Pacheco. So if you sign Gibbs, that probably means you're losing Laporta.
I think we're probably hours/minutes away from the Gibbs contract being announced.
I'd assume so.
We've seen a couple of people saying the Lions and Jahmyr Gibbs are close on a structure of a 3-year contract for the running back. We've also seen somebody in Detroit say the deal is done. We're just waiting for the numbers to be announced with Gibbs. So Jonathan Taylor got done this morning. Bijan a couple of days ago. Jahmyr Gibbs apparently is going to be the highest paid running back. So
that's why.
So he will end up with more than Bijan, which was 3 years, 66.7, so 22.25 per year, with 51 million guaranteed, which is almost double what Kenneth Walker's guaranteed dollars were.
Sure.
Over the same number of years of 3 years, and Gibbs is going to then top those numbers. If the reports are true that he's going to be the highest paid running back.
Yeah.
The highest paid running back right now in total guaranteed dollars is Jeremiah Love because he was the number 4 pick. It's
technically,
Yes, I know, right. It's also,
that's always
it's
a
also
wild
a 4-year deal versus 3-year deal. Jonathan Taylor's a 2-year deal. Things like that. So that should be announced pretty soon. So we may get into that with Kenneth Walker. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. And, maybe we talk about some of those numbers as we're waiting on the Gibbs deal to come in. I also want to hear what Steve Spagnuolo had to say about Peter Woods and Alohi Gilman and some of the players that are new and figuring things out and getting on the same page because that certainly matters. And Mansour Delane. He did not pull any punches talking about what Mansour Delane needs to do. And that is less look like a quarterback out there with the yellow jersey and more look like a cornerback out there, running and playing in 11-on-11 when the pads are on. More Zone next.
If we're talking baseball, we're talking FanDuel. And if you're looking to get more out of today's MLB action, FanDuel has you covered because right now you can head to the FanDuel app and claim a profit boost to use on any bet type for today's game. That is any bet type. We're talking money lines, totals, home runs, player props, however you like to play, the choice is up to you. If you know me, I'm a big strikeout guy, or I love parlaying 2 to 3 guys on hits together. To me, I always find that extremely fun. Keeps me more interested in the game. It's super simple. Just tap claim now and grab your token and apply it to your bet before you place it. So maybe you're backing the Y'alls to win tonight. Maybe you like the over, or maybe you're calling your shot and picking someone to go yard. The choice is up to you. So whatever you're feeling, use your boost to get more out of your bet. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, your home for home runs.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, heading up until 2 o'clock. We'll talk with Kent Swanson coming up at noon. We will have some sports or leisure coming your way in the 1 o'clock hour. 913-912-4810, a text line to join us. I want to check and see if anything has been announced with Jahmyr Gibbs yet, since it felt like it was a matter of like minutes away rather than days away from the Jahmyr Gibbs contract being announced. I don't see anything yet, but still, we are expecting that it is going to be a larger contract than what Bijan Robinson got and the same number of years. So I do wonder, they sign Kenneth Walker, and it was quickly viewed as, okay, this is an overpay, and is the value back to being representative for the running backs and what they bring to the table? I don't think they overpaid for Kenneth Walker. I think the value of what they needed in this offense, as opposed to who was the wide receiver we talked about yesterday that was making $13 million or something like that, or the day before, and we said, would you rather have this guy for $13 million or Kenneth Walker for 14? And it was like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Who you would rather have? It's Kenneth Walker for $14 million. Like
Jalen Naylor? He was up there. Yeah, he was one of the questions. Khalil Shakur.
There you go, Khalil Shakur. And that was a contract extension even, not even on the open market.
Like Dontavian Wicks, Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, like, okay, I'll take Kenneth Walker over Dontavian Wicks with $14 million. And you start to look at it and go, all right, I'm not saying that they got him cheap, because if the Chiefs had signed a multi-year deal running back last offseason, that seems to be the time going into the 25 season where the running back market had maybe hit a significant low. And they chose poorly with Elijah Mitchell. There were a number of running backs out there that could have had Rico Dowdle, obviously with the J.K. Dobbins, Javonte Williams. We can go on and on with certain running backs that were signed, and it worked out better than what it did in Kansas City with Elijah Mitchell. But it was obvious they needed a running back. So now Kenneth Walker, 3 years, $43 million. It's almost 28 guaranteed for those 3 years. So you're looking at $9.6 million per year of guaranteed dollars, averaging out about a little more than $14 million per year in annual average value. But sometimes it's better to break it down by, when we say, what's the funny money? And it's all about the guaranteed dollars. Okay, well, let's break it down. Guaranteed dollars per year, not annual average value per year of the total life of the contract. How many guaranteed dollars is this person getting in average per year? Kenneth Walker is sitting at 9.6. Bijan Robinson signed his contract 3 years, $67 million. 51 of that is guaranteed over 3 years. It's not double, but it's pretty close. He's averaging $17 million per year in guaranteed dollars versus Kenneth Walker's 9.6. Now, Bijan is a better running back than Kenneth Walker. Nobody's arguing that. And that's why he's getting paid the way that he's getting paid. Bijan's getting the $17 million per year guaranteed dollars. 51 total guaranteed dollars in his 3-year contract. $8 million more annual average value for Bijan Robinson over Kenneth Walker. $8 million more guaranteed dollars. Jonathan Taylor, 2 years, $44 million. So that's $22 million per year, but 39 of that is guaranteed, meaning $18 million per year guaranteed dollars. So Kenneth Walker, 9.6, Jonathan Taylor, 18. You're getting at almost double the guaranteed dollars per year for these contracts that are being signed now for extensions with Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, and what will ultimately be Jahmyr Gibbs. I think we can look at these contracts and say, what if Kenneth Walker goes out with the Seahawks this year and has another awesome year? He's not making 14 next year.
No.
You're not getting him at 9.6 guaranteed dollars per year for a 3-year contract. Not where the market is being set now. He ain't getting that money, but he's not going to be almost half of what because if we're looking at, if Gibbs comes in at $19 million per year guaranteed, then you're talking about doubling what Kenneth Walker is getting per year guaranteed.
What's funny is the market for running back has exploded ever since Saquon signed his contract 2 years ago with the Eagles.
Yeah, before the 24 season.
And I think it's fair. I don't know if it's going too far the other way because it's not like we're seeing.
Well, I mean,
I think of a name.
Well, I mean, we're starting to see teams hand the ball off more.
Yeah,
going under center using.
And again, every time I bring this up all the time with when I talk with Emmett about this, and he said the game's cyclical. It always changes. It will go back, and
I like that you just called him Emmett, and you're meaning Emmitt Smith.
Yeah,
I love that. By the way,
we go way back.
That is amazing. You're on a first name basis.
He would probably not remember, but I've talked probably 4 or 5 times, interviewed him 4 or 5 times, and we always have this fun conversation. It's getting closer and closer because I mean, summer the first time was probably 4 years ago. Probably 4 years ago, and we were talking because this was the 4 or 5. This was the height of almost running backs don't matter. Yeah. And I remember him saying, "You give us some time, and people are going to be coming right back to us. They're going to say, no, you know what? We were wrong. Running backs do matter, and they're going to start getting paid." And he had the foresight 4 or 5 years ago. Now, again, obviously, as a Hall of Fame running back, he's going to probably try and carry some water for those guys. But still, you're seeing this linebackers got smaller. They got quicker. They got faster. It was, are you a coverage linebacker? It was no longer those big, bulky guys who are wearing the neck rolls, that are terrified in the middle, who are 270, right?
Yeah.
We're no longer seeing that. That's the rare guys now.
Yeah.
And so everyone's playing these sub packages of 4-2-5. They're playing dime. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Well, offenses we'll go 12 personnel. We'll go 13 personnel. We're going to run the football more. And that's what we're seeing because it's going to take time for linebackers and teams to go, well, shoot, if they're running the ball, what do? We got to bring back a bigger linebacker. We got Leo Chenal might make more sense now. It's just funny how the game adjusts and changes, but running backs now, they're back in the value of where they probably should have been. It's not quite early 2000s where it was those are the guys, when it was Priest, when it was LT, when it was Sean Alexander, when it was Marshall Faulk, right? Like, those were the faces of franchises. We now know it's more quarterback still, but when it comes to wide receivers or running backs, we're starting to see that gap maybe bridge just a little here. I don't think it was an overpay at all for Kenneth Walker. I feel horrible for some of those guys who were running backs 5-7 years ago when the market was so depressed. Like, imagine Austin Eckler in his prime, what he would get on the open market now. At least Breece Hall money.
Yeah, and Breece Hall got a little bit more than the Kenneth Walker.
Right? I mean, it's just funny to see. I do. They're making a lot of money.
Yeah,
I'm not going to feel too bad for those guys, but some of those running backs that had those really good stretches 5-7 years ago when the market was maybe even less than that, maybe it was 4 to 6 years ago when the market was depressed. They're not feeling great right now.
Well, I think you also start to go, where's a more valuable or impactful player? Because, look, we know the difference with the offensive line and the scheme is going to make the running back. Versus, okay, yeah, to a degree. Like, the running back's going to have to actually carry the football. Like, you can open up a hole for him, but does he break a tackle? Does he make a guy miss? Does he turn a 10-yard gain into a 30-yard gain? Does he turn a 10-yard gain into a 7-yard gain? It was schemed perfectly, but he's still got to have the ball in his hands and make the decisions. And whether he can break a tackle or not. So it did go too far the extreme one way. And I don't know if it will continue heading in the extreme this way. But as the NFL is moving into the cycle of under center, heavier offensive line, 12 personnel, handing the ball off, defenses because they're lighter and faster than they've ever been before and smarter. If they start bulking up and getting bigger to try to counter the 12 personnel, the extra offensive linemen at times like the Bills did in 24, like some of the teams did last year, then okay, you're going running back because you're running the ball a little bit more, or some of these offenses are focusing around the running back. Like the Indianapolis Colts offense is not about the quarterback, it's about Jonathan Taylor and then creating things. The Atlanta Falcons is not about Michael Penix or Tua or Drake London or Kyle Pitts. It's about Bijan Robinson, what he creates. The Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown is awesome, and Goff gets him the ball. But you're clearly seeing it's about Jahmyr Gibbs in that offense. The Chiefs are still about Patrick Mahomes. And Kenneth Walker will be a part of this offense, and he's not San Francisco, it's Christian McCaffrey.
Sure.
Even though, hey, Brock Purdy is there, and he's pretty good. Hey, Brock Purdy is good. I mean, it's Cincinnati, obviously it's surrounded by the passing game of Chase. Bengals fans are pissed. Yes, Burrow, the quarterback.
I don't know. Jake Browning could probably do it.
Well, we saw that Flacco did it, so who knows? But, like, you see the money for the running back. I don't think it'll ever get to the wide receiver. But if you start to have to pay a little bit more money for the running back, then I think it's all the more reason why you should be looking at drafting more wide receivers and not running back. Because if you draft a wide receiver in the first round, you're still getting a bargain compared to what the other wide receivers are.
Correct.
Drafting Jeremiah Love number 4, he's the highest paid running back.
Like guarantees, yeah, right. With him and Ashton Jeanty probably the year prior.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's if I pull it up right now, the running backs.
Practical guarantees, maybe. Yeah.
Guaranteed dollars. Bijan, Jeremiah Love is $53 million, and Bijan is $37.
If you go to practical guarantees, it's 51 for Bijan. That might be more
but
fair.
But it's 53 for Jeremiah Love.
It's still 53 for Jeremiah Love.
Like he's still practical guaranteed. Now it's 4 years versus 3, so that does matter. But if I look at the, it's about 13 and a quarter per year of guaranteed dollars for Jeremiah Love, and he's never carried the ball one time.
Yeah. And
So
it could
is
be
there
Trent Richardson.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't think it will, but I'm saying that that's you don't know what you're going to get.
And if I go to, let's see, wide receiver, guaranteed dollars, I'm looking at, see, Jordan Tyson was the first one taken, right? Yeah, Jordan Tyson was the first one taken in the, Carnell Tate, sorry. Totally skipped right past Carnell Tate. All right, so Carnell Tate is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Guaranteed dollars at signing, Carnell Tate has the 9th highest for wide receivers. And he was taking a spot after Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah Love has the highest. Practical guarantees, Jeremiah Love the highest. Carnell Tate is the 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 18th highest practical guarantees. So that's where it's like if you're paying running backs, to me it makes it even more vital that you start drafting wide receivers and not paying wide receivers because you are getting the value even if you take a top 10 wide receiver or a draft pick in the top 10, you're still getting value if they turn out to be a franchise-type wide receiver versus paying for one on the open market versus paying for one on the open market or a top 10 running back. It's kind of roughly the same of a franchise running back that you've already seen Sterling in the NFL play for 3 or 4 years.
It's why premium positions are always going to be valued because left tackle's the same way. Edge rusher's clearly the same way. It was why, Karlaftis being hit on as a rookie was so big. It's why we hope our Mason Thomas will do the same thing. We're seeing defensive tackle start to go that way too.
Yeah.
So you're hoping Peter Woods can turn into something because that's a huge value there. Cornerback, yeah, to an extent, still obviously with Trent McDuffie. I mean, you saw the value he got. I mean, if Mansour Delaney can do anything, that's probably going to be half of the McDuffie contract.
Mansour Delane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the 7th highest guaranteed at signing. Trent McDuffie has the highest.
Yeah.
And then practical guarantees, Mansour Delane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th highest. Practical McDuffie number 1.
I normally look at practical guarantees traditionally.
McDuffie's number 1, Mansour Delane's 13th.
And so that's why premium's always going to make it. It's why guards in the first round are difficult. It's why a lot of linebackers are difficult in the first round. It's why safety is you have to legitimately be, when you are a running back too, you have to come in and be a top 5 player at your position for that contract to make a lot of sense.
And even if you're doing that, Sterling, you're getting paid what the top 5 guys in the NFL are.
Correct.
As free agents or extensions.
Yes.
Not on rookie contracts.
And it's why I think it's sometimes difficult, because I'm not saying the average fan, but sometimes they don't realize the contract differentials that go into it. So it's, why'd you draft this guy and not this guy? It was why I was against Jeremiah Love for the longest time. This is the reason. It's not, I don't think he's a good player, but he has to be a good player.
Yes.
Now, with the Chiefs.
Same thing with Monster
Delane.
Yes,
Now, you trade up to draft him.
Yeah.
He has to be a really good player.
But really, anybody they drafted in the top 10 there, they take
Top 10,
Jordan Tyson.
Yeah,
he
same
has
thing.
to be an awesome wide receiver. Like, you have to have that guy come through, because that's the value you get for a top 10 pick who you're going to pay money to, because that's how it works with the rookie wage scale and the higher you draft. But also that premium position, and there is still a gap between if they paid Trent McDuffie versus what they're paying Mansour Delane. They are saving $58 million in practical guaranteed money over the next 4 years.
Yeah.
$58 million. Trent McDuffie signed 4 years, $100 million practical guaranteed. And Mansour Delane signed 4 years, $42 million practical guaranteed. $58 million less for him. Well, if you hit on him, that's such value that can go elsewhere over the next 4 years.
Real quick, because I thought this was semi-funny when I was going through. I was trying to think of who was the running back who was maybe the most
screwed.
I think I found it.
Worse luck?
I think I found it. I think it's Nick Chubb. Oh, wow. Nick Chubb, because he's had an incredible career. He's averaged 5 yards a carry in his career in 8 years, and he's missed a decent amount of time. Basically, it was 7 years because he only played 2 games that 1 year because of that brutal knee injury. Then he played 8 following that. He still has rushed for over 7,300 yards in 8 total seasons. So basically like 6.5, which is just insane. I mean, that's like 1,300, 1,200 plus yards a season. He's made $38 million in his career, which is great. I mean, if you can get it 38, but over 8 years, that's $4.5 million-ish a year for, at one point, for 5-year stretch, maybe the best running back in football.
And
now he's basically done.
Ashton Genty's going to get $36 million guaranteed in the first 4 years of his career.
Jonathan Taylor in 2 years will make more than Nick Chubb did his entire career. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
And again, Jonathan Taylor's a great player, but Nick Chubb had that stretch where he was elite.
Love's getting $53 million over 4 years. He also missed the window too so Chubb was too early in the NFL. He was also too early in the NIL.
Yeah.
So he had to get money through the back door, and he was paid that way in the SEC, but he could have been paid a whole lot of money, like Peter Woods at Clemson, and he's asked anything that you wanted to buy with your money, and it's like, brother, I didn't just come into money.
Yeah.
I was pretty blessed at Clemson to get some cash there.
I'm not feeling bad for a guy that made $38 million, but for a guy who probably had the biggest cap on what he could have made.
Right.
It probably, again, 1,000 yards, 1,500 yards, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 yards again. You're sitting like, man, that's...
What he would have made at Georgia the last year he was there in NIL, and then what he would have made as a free agent off a 1,500-yard rushing season.
Yeah, that's what it would have been. Because it would have been off his 1,300 yard, and that first year would have been 1,512 touchdowns because he was a second rounder.
That's right.
So yeah, I think I found the guy who was probably the most screwed by the markets.
Yeah, that's
poor $38 million career earnings. Nick Chubb.
Look, Jeremiah Love didn't get $13 million at Notre Dame that we know of, but he also didn't play at Notre Dame for the scholarship and the room and board.
Correct.
For that his last year there. Yeah. I just loved hearing that from Peter Woods. Like, is there anything special I wanted to buy with my money? I mean, I don't know. It's pretty blessed at Clemson.
Yeah. I memean, he was gracious about it. It wasn't like he was pretty like,
I'm like, I've already done that, man. Are you kidding me?
He was like, I was in a pretty good situation.
Yes. I think he said, I'll let my money make money.
Yeah.
He might be making less this year than what he made at Clemson. There's a chance with his rookie contract.
I don't know.
See the interior defensive lineman. Actually, I can just pull up the Kansas City Chiefs.
It depends, I guess.
Because I don't remember what his contract was.
If you're a quarterback like Carson Beck probably is.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, Carson Beck is making so much less, and he's going tonight. He'll be out there starting. The Carson Beck show is going tonight.
I bet quarterbacks are. Or if you're drafted like
rounds 3 through
probably 5 on, and you played in the SEC.
I mean, Peter Woods, it might be close, guys.
He's probably making what, $3.5-4 million this year.
He's making his annual average salary is $4.5 million over the 4 years.
I don't think he made $4.5 million.
I don't think he
Clemson.
did either. But I don't know that it might have been far off with coming off his sophomore year, going into a senior year, maybe being the number 1 pick in the draft, the number 1 prospect in all of college football is Peter Woods.
Yeah.
And he could have transferred anywhere he wanted to for NIL. I don't know that he got much less than what he's getting this year.
Yeah, maybe he
might have been a $3 or $4 million defensive lineman in the South. I know he went in the SEC, but Clemson is more SEC than ACC in terms of how they run the program.
Maybe
I don't know that he was far off. I don't know. I think maybe when we see like Mendoza and the money they're getting and how much then the money seems to be heightened, maybe Peter Woods would have got a better NIL deal this season coming into a senior year than he did last year. But I bet it was close to 3 or 4 million. I bet it.
I'm looking at, and who knows what this is. I see high 6 figures
for a defensive tackle like Peter Woods.
I'm with you guys. I don't know. If
he would have got that when it was illegal. When it was against, he would have got the high 6 figures per year on an annual basis when it wasn't allowed. They would have just funneled that money like they did Cam Newton at Auburn. They would have taken care. Allegedly.
At least it's in the ballpark.
Back then we had to go in the back door. Now we can go in the front. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. We'll talk a little bit more Chiefs with Kent Swanson coming up on the other side of the break. KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. We talked with him a couple of weeks ago heading into camp and got the storylines he was paying attention to. And obviously Patrick Mahomes was the number one, but his number two storyline was Josh Simmons. So we'll talk about what he has seen from Josh Simmons and the things he was wanting to see. We also asked which UDFA player is the most likely to make the roster. He chose Khalil Benson. I should have changed that question at the time of which UDFA player is most likely to start week number one.
Khalil Benson.
Still the same answer. We'll talk to him about those things. Mansour Delane, the concern that may come up with that. And Trent McDuffie, my commentary was more about him getting the spark back than being caught off guard.
Kent Swanson of KCSN is brought to you by Dick Ray Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Are you planning to spend money on a new AC or furnace repair this year? Dick Ray can help. Show us a 2025 HVAC repair invoice from any company, and we'll credit that amount towards a new system up to $2,500. Call 913-DICK-RAY or go to dickray.com for details.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. Chiefs finishing up practice earlier today. Let's talk some Chiefs football with Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Kent, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Doing tremendous. And, I mean, there's Chiefs football to talk about. Why couldn't I be tremendous?
You know, there's Chiefs football. There's an actual football game tonight. Well, I don't know if it's an actual football game, but there is a game tonight where players will be wearing NFL jerseys out on the field that'll be televised nationally and heard right here on 810. So we've gotten to this part in the season.
It will be a game I watch. I mean, that's all that matters, right?
Yep, that's a good way to describe it.
It's the first football game of the season we get to watch.
That's exactly right. It's a great description. It will be a game. There will be players, names, some that we recognize, and they'll be running around on the field as long as the field is worthy of the players to be out there. We've seen that happen before where it hasn't, but hopefully that is the case. Let's talk about what we've seen from this Chiefs team and through the first full week. I want to go back to a couple of things that we talked about before training camp got rolling to bring up with you. But I'll ask, first of all, maybe some general thoughts that what you've seen from the first full week of training camp with all the veterans and everything there, and 3 straight days of padded practices.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of encouraging things to this point. I think, you're seeing a lot of buzz around players that the Chiefs need to step up and have roles on this team. I think there's a reason to be excited about the youth movement here within the organization. Patrick Mahomes looks incredible. So, honestly, I think the vibes around training camp are largely positive. I think there's a lot of good things to be optimistic about. And I think, when you're looking at, some of the question marks around this roster, you kind of wonder if maybe there's a few players in there that are kind of maybe slowing some of that concern down.
I want to go through some of the things that we talked about, and we were looking at topics and what the storylines we thought would be, or at least for you personally. We went through it on the show, the 4 or 5 topics and storylines we were going to be paying attention to, and we all agreed number one was Patrick Mahomes and the health. So I want to start there. What we've seen from Patrick Mahomes, has he looked like what you expected, better, a little less mobile? Like, what have you seen from Patrick Mahomes, comparatively speaking, to what maybe your mind thought we would see through the first full week of training camp?
I mean, he looks like a full go. I mean, I think that knee brace is being covered by socks and pads right now, so you can barely even tell he's wearing it right now. And I remember we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, and it kind of feels like this whole are there really truly any more mile markers left in this whole journey of Patrick Mahomes? He was a full go as soon as the pads came on. He was, participating in full with the rookies. It does feel like he's just, I think he's just a full go, and he looks every bit of the guy that he's always looked like. And I think he's been throwing the ball extremely well during camp. And then other encouraging signs. I mean, he's in full under center drop back mode right now. I mean, we're seeing full under center drop.
Don't bring that up with Andy.
Patrick Mahomes.
don't ask Andy about that again.
But I mean, yeah, you've got to be thrilled with what you've seen out of Patrick Mahomes. Nothing looks like, it doesn't look like he was injured, 7 months ago, 8 months ago.
So let's talk about storyline number 2 that we brought up at the time, at least for you, asking you what storyline number 2 was. You went with Josh Simmons, his weight, what he looked like after a full year of getting ready for a season instead of rehabbing. It's been a week in. What have you seen from Josh Simmons? Encouraged by that from Josh Simmons? Andy said his weight's up a little bit. Josh Simmons said he's playing at a weight that he feels comfortable with. So what have you seen from the left tackle?
I mean, I think there's still a little bit of concern about, how's he going to anchor against bull rushers?
Mm-hmm.
But that's literally it, because everything else has been incredible. I think, what you've seen to him to this point, he just looks like a super comfortable veteran left tackle playing really good football over there. The movement skills are outstanding, as they should be, playing at the way he is. I think he's done a really, really good job. You've seen him kind of lose a few one-on-ones, trying to anchor a little bit when there's a bull rush. But other than that, there's really no signs of concern with what you're getting out of Josh Simmons. So I think the hope is now, can he sustain that for the duration of the season? Can he avoid injury? Can he be on the field, for the entirety of the year? And if that's the case, the Chiefs have the left tackle of the future, and they probably aren't letting it ever get out of Kansas City.
I think there are, oftentimes in Kansas City, there might be a little, sensitivity or insecurity or sort of an immediacy to fight back against anything that would seem like a slight. And I know in the offseason, talking about the offensive line, we all felt like it was a false narrative that was going on. PFF put out their top 32 tackles in the NFL, and right tackle and left tackle, and Josh Simmons didn't show up on that. And there were a couple of people that were annoyed by it, and it wasn't like a big deal or anything, but my response to that was, I think that's fair. He missed a number of games last year. He's had back-to-back years where he hasn't played a full season. I don't think it's hey, Josh Simmons, he's good, you're fine over there. I agree with that. I think there are still some concerns. Maybe it's the bull rush. And to me, I'd like to see him play a full season. And if there's, I don't know if it'd be the guy, but I would guess that if he plays a full season, we won't be talking about why he didn't show up on the top 32 tackles at a random website.
Yeah, he'll be the biggest riser on that list, most likely. I think that is absolutely in the range of outcomes for him. Is if he just puts that sample size together, he's going to be a fast riser. And I think the fact that if the Chiefs, he doesn't have to be a superstar left tackle. If he can just be, the 15th best left tackle in football for the next decade, the Chiefs would happily sign up for that, I think. But I do think he has the ability to climb up a little bit higher than that as well. But I do think, just as much turmoil and as hard as it is to find a left tackle in football, the fact that the Chiefs seem to have found one the way that they did, and hopefully he can just stay on the field because it's such a big deal if Josh Simmons can go out and play top half of the league tackle football at the tackle position. That's such a win for this organization.
Kent Swanson's our guest, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. On the other side of the offensive line, at right tackle, is a development that I certainly was not expecting, and that is Collier Benson taking the first team reps since camp started and all 3 days in pads. And when we talked about different storylines and one of the questions we were going over before camp, I asked you, who's the UDFA that you think has the best shot of making the roster? I could have asked you who's the UDFA that has the best chance of starting week one, and it might have been the same answer because your answer was Collier Benson to make the roster. The question that's been going around, Kent, and I wanted to see which side of it you fall on, the question has been, with Collier Benson getting the first team reps, is that good news for Collier Benson, or is that an indictment on Jalen Moore?
I think it's a little bit of both. And I know that's the cop-out answer, and I'm sorry you're not here for cop-out answers, but I do think, there's some good things I think you've seen, Collier Benson do, but there's also definitely some looks like a big kind of undrafted free agent rookie. I think there are moments where he kind of, has struggles, trying to stay consistent up the arc and being able to, have the foot quickness. Sometimes there are some plays, in the backside of run plays where, he looks like he's holding on for dear life a little bit there just to try to cross the face. But at the same time, you've got what a story for him. And I think the fact that the Chiefs are so interested in what he can do for them is a positive sign for his outlook. And I don't think that they're just going to throw an undrafted free agent rookie out, just anybody out there to play the right tackle position. So, he's clearly impressing. He's clearly earning these opportunities. And while it's not consistent, and it's there's still plenty of work to be done, I think what the Chiefs are showing you and the level of confidence, the amount of time that they are investing in him, and crucial time that they're investing in, I think says a lot about him and what they think about, his outlook and being able to have your starting right tackle potentially under control for the next few years. The Jalen Moore side of it, too, though, is it's wild. The fall from grace, almost, it feels like, because I don't think Jalen Moore played abhorrent right tackle. I don't think he was just unplayable last season, but just to see the fall from grace a little bit from him is kind of surprising.
Is there a chance the Chiefs are going more long-term outlook of it's 1 year left with Jalen Moore versus could be 4 years with Khalil Benson or more if he goes and wins the job? And it's like, okay, we feel like Jalen Moore, just throwing a random number, is like a 6, and Benson's like a 4.5. But Jalen Moore is a 6, and he's done at the end of this year with the Chiefs, where Benson's a 4.5. Maybe he gets to a 6 at the end of this year by playing, and then he's there moving forward on the roster. Any chance that maybe they're viewing it that way as opposed to, look, we're putting the best 5 offensive linemen out there, and Benson right now is our best right tackle?
I could see an argument that maybe Jalen Moore is a little bit more ready today than Khalil Benson. That's probably true because Jalen Moore has actually played NFL football and played real games before. I don't know if the gap's that big, though. I think if the gap was that big, they would probably just have Jalen Moore out there right now, call it a day, and say, look, we have 4 incredible offensive linemen lined up to Jalen Moore. We can deal with the Jalen Moore that we have signed to this roster. Now, I think that gap's tighter. I think it's closer, which is a credit to Benson to get it to that point. I think if to use your analogy, if they thought that Jalen Moore was a 6, I think they think Khalil Benson's a 5.5 right now.
Okay, yeah, and
that he has a chance to exceed him by the end of camp, or be on par with him by the end of camp. That would probably be. I think it's a little bit tighter.
Yeah, if it was. I don't know what the gap would be between Andy Reid and Andy Heck between 2 players to where they would go, yeah, not worth it. But if it's like, a 6 and a 5.5, then yeah, I would, it's not necessarily all things being equal, but it's all things close to being equal. I'll take my chances on somebody you feel like can mold and have a higher upside. And the one thing that I looked at and Sterling and I talked about yesterday is, guys that get reps early in camp. It's not typically Andy Reid and his staff going, well, let's see what we have in this guy. And Sterling pointed out, well, offensive line specifically, because, hey, running back, Brashard Smith was running with the 1s. We see wide receivers, other guys mix in with the 1s from time to time. But if we go back to the different players that we had questions about, in 2021, Trey Smith coming in as a rookie, Kyle Long went down. There was a little bit day 1, day 2 of Trey Smith sort of rotating at right guard. Day 3, Trey Smith's been the right guard for the Chiefs since day 3 of his rookie training camp. It was not, let's see what we have in Trey Smith. No, he was the starting right guard. 2024, Kingsley and Wanya went back and forth, sort of letting us know that there was some sort of a question. But once the pads came on, Kent, Kingsley was the left tackle. It was pads, Kingsley's with the 1s. And last year, from day 1, it was Simmons and Kingsley, and that was the left side of your offensive line. And there was no, well, is it going to be Jalen Moore? Is it going to be, who's going to be over there at left tackle? So when it comes to offensive line, Kent, we have not seen Andy Reid and Andy Heck put somebody out there just to see what they have. We've seen when the pads come on, their offensive line has been what they think their starting offensive line is going to be.
Yeah, I think there's even been more instances of that. I think Mitch Moore's pretty quick. I think Creed very quickly. I mean, Creed was a 2nd-round pick, but still, it does feel like on the offensive line, when there's a move that's going to be made, you see it pretty quickly. And the fact that Khalil Benson has just received so many reps.
Yeah,
I mean, it is like very clearly he's been the guy. I did hear one kind of comment from Albert Breer. He had a notebook that he was out at training camp, and he hit some interesting nuggets. There's plenty of interesting nuggets, but when he talked about Khalil Benson, he said, Benson's playing well. He's getting some opportunities. He's competing with Jalen Moore, and it wouldn't surprise people if Khalil Benson took the job from Jalen Moore. More of like that he's spoken a little bit more definitive. Like he kind of said, hey, Stoddard Allen has a role on this offense.
Yeah.
He kind of spoken more definitives about other players. And that was the only thing that was like a little bit of note to me. It's like, Breer as connected as he is, saying, like, I think there's a chance Benson, it winds up being the guy. That's the only thing I'm like, that's quite interesting to me. Like, they're trying to see if they can get Benson caught up as much as he possibly can, and see what happens, and then, kind of make a decision for the rest of camp from there. That's the only argument I could make for Jalen Moore's legitimate chances left.
Yeah.
Because as many snaps, as many first-team reps, as many times as Khalil Benson is rolling out there with the starters in such a crucial time where you want to have a right tackle established that can build the chemistry with the rest of that offensive line, you would think, that there would be a rotation if Jalen Moore was part of the mix.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a break from the trend and what historically we've seen Andy Reid and Andy Heck do with their offensive line. If this was the first week or so of camp, let's put Benson in there with the one, see what we have, and then go to Jalen Moore. And if that's who we need to go with, we'll go with that guy. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Ken Swanson is our guest, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. The Chiefs apparently have a new quarterback on their team. He wears number 5, and his name is Mansour Delane because he's wearing the quarterback yellow jersey every day, and again today. At what point is there a concern for Delane? I mean, he didn't hurt the shoulder last week. I mean, this was in May, and he missed OTAs and minicamp with the shoulder and non-contact, and now it's, for him going on 2 weeks there at St. Joe where he's, been in the yellow jersey. At what point does it start to become, and maybe it's there for a concern that Mansour Delane is still non-contact?
I'm a little concerned, and not from a completely existential perspective, but this team really does need him to play, and they need their rookie cornerback to be on the field, getting reps, getting ready for a season in which he is going to be needed significantly to potentially lead the cornerback room and be the number 1 cornerback on this team. Although I think Noel Williams is going to have something to say about that, but especially with Christian Fulton out this week, getting hurt again. Mansour Delane, he's missing crucial time, crucial snaps to get better and get ready for his first NFL season. And, you don't want a player like Mansour Delane starting slow. And I think the Chiefs are doing everything they can to try to keep him up to speed with the expectation that once he gets back in there, he will be one of the starting cornerbacks for this team, as much as he's breaking the huddle with the ones and then leaving, which is, I don't know if I've ever seen a player do that at Chiefs camp. They're doing everything to get him, caught up to speed without reps. But I think there's reason for concern. That's just 2 weeks. There's just 3 padded practices. There's a lot of time that he's missed now that he's not going to get back, and that's pretty crucial to the process.
Yeah, I mean, you can take mental reps all you want, but these guys need actual reps out there on the field. And so this is, looking long-term down the road, and it's sort of like, write it as a sidebar, it's sort of a nugget. You look at it and you set it aside in a little lockbox or file it away. And, I was talking about this yesterday off the air with Jack Johnson, and I said, man, this is, 10 steps down the road, but I don't want to be in a spot where, we see it early on and we look back and go, man, I mean, he was really good when he was on the field, but it was just an injury, just had like this and that. And, 4 years later, it's like, you can't really sign him long-term because of this. And man, he just never, I worry about that early on when somebody has had this injury and he's missed this much time and it hasn't been a surgery, that, it's a bad start in terms of health in a game where it's not an if, but when you will get injured.
Yeah, I do think, the good thing for the Chiefs is, I mean, all things considered, is it's not a lower body injury, which I think could have really derailed the season a lot more than what the shoulder could have. I think it's just a matter of that shoulder healing, but I do think it's probably something that he's going to have to deal with for this year and potentially the rest of his career. And you don't typically want a cornerback, having to deal with shoulder injuries, especially one that's willing to tackle and play in the flats. That's not going to be an enjoyable experience, I think, for him all the time. But hopefully he can get back sooner rather than later. I think Beer mentioned a couple weeks away still for him, and you're halfway through training camp, more than halfway through training camp by then. and all those reps and some contact opportunities, some padded practices. There's some reasons for concern and getting caught up to start the season.
Yeah, a couple of weeks from now, we'd be talking about preseason game number 2. Yeah, that's some real reps that he would be missing. Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Stephon Diggs is a Commander. A lot of people wanted to see him be a Kansas City Chief. Would you have liked to see the Chiefs sign Stephon Diggs? Are you fine with him being somewhere else? What are your thoughts on Stephon Diggs going to the Commanders, and if you wanted him to be a Chief?
Yeah, I think from a full, a football perspective, you want Stephon Diggs on your team. I think he would have stepped in and been the best receiver on this team probably this year, provided some reliability to that receiver room, some versatility to move around the formation a little bit. He's definitely someone I think you would have liked to see in Kansas City. He winds up getting a deal worth up to $12 million. That would have necessitated some moves from the Chiefs to make it happen, because they only have $4 million in cap space right now. Maybe a restructure of Creed Humphrey, but who knows what's going on with Creed Humphrey's situation? Are they going to avoid restructuring him because they're going to extend him or work his deal out for this year or next year? Who knows? So I don't know if the routes to actually add him to the roster were as clear as we all would like them to be here in Kansas City. But I definitely would have liked to see him in the mix.
Yeah. Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Last one for you. Trent McDuffie and his comments that came out in the podcast. We played those comments yesterday, him talking about, being blindsided. And it should be pointed out, Taylor Lewan put in the words anger, and McDuffie was just sort of going along with what he said. McDuffie never said angry or anything like that. He also said at the end, he's got that spark back and that swagger and is excited to go to camp. My quick thoughts on that was, one, if you didn't know that you were potentially going to be traded, then you're not paying attention and your agent should be fired. And number two, I didn't take it as a negative for, hey, I got my spark back and my swagger and I can't wait for the season. In fact, Kent, I looked at it as a lesson for the Chiefs that even a player like McDuffie, you go through season after season after season and you're trying to win 3 in a row. Then, okay, you didn't win, but you keep the band together to try to make 4 Super Bowls in a row. I think there's a point that comes where you just sort of get complacent. You don't have that same drive, that same hunger that you had early on. That I think it's a lesson that even some stars, you might want to think about changing over the roster, from time to time to make sure you're continually injecting fresh blood and that hunger to be there. I'm not saying Trent McDuffie dogged it or was going through the motions, but the fact that it's like, I've got my excitement and spark back meant that it was lost at some point.
I think I'm with you. I think this team, as much as they've been through the entirety of Trent McDuffie's rookie contract, Trent McDuffie's whole career, he knows nothing less than what he went through with 3 straight Super Bowls. And then this last season, obviously things kind of fell apart for everything. So, I mean, his introduction to the National Football League was one of the most unique ever. But I don't think it's anything other than exhaustion and fatigue from a long stretch. And I think there's some players in Kansas City that got their spark back.
Yeah.
And I think, the vibes around camp seem extremely strong out there in St. Joseph right now. Some players, there's a lot of energy out there, it feels like, for some of the existing players. Travis Kelce looks great. Patrick Mahomes looks great. Offensive line, I think there's a lot of things to like about what's going on over there. And, I do think that there is a spark that exists. Chris Jones and the energy that he's got right now. There does seem to be a spark that lit not just Trent McDuffie because of this trade, but I think this organization too, because of how everything went down last year. So I do feel like I get it. I get it from Trent's perspective, and he's experiencing it in LA right now. I think the Chiefs are experiencing it right now too.
Yeah.
So a lot of those veterans that have been around for a long time, I think they're energized by the extra time off and a poor season and having some motivation and being written off in a lot of ways. So, I think everybody, a lot of people that had to go through this last era of Chiefs football are feeling the same thing he is. He's just doing it from a different zip code.
Yeah, and being written off and things like that. I mean, going back to a reference to Albert Breer's notebook when he talked about Patrick Mahomes and what he looked like, and then said, folks here saying he's taking notes of what people are saying about him and the team. Like, well, yeah, he always does. But Breer felt like it's something he wanted to mention in his notebook that he had from camp. Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Kent, you're the man. Appreciate it always, brother. In a couple of weeks, we'll catch up with you. We'll have a preseason game to talk about with the Chiefs on the 15th. That will have already taken place, but getting ready for preseason game number 2. Appreciate you, brother, as always.
Hey, enjoy Carson Beck versus Kenny Pickett tonight.
You darn right I will. Who won't enjoy that? Give me all the Beck and Pickett you can give me, because it's football and they're wearing NFL jerseys. I'll take it. I'm going to watch it or listen, depending on what I'm doing. Kent, appreciate you as always, brother. We'll talk in a couple of weeks.
Anytime, man. Kent
Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast, joining us. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue More Zone next.
You're in the zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you to Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast, joining us. Yeah, I think the question could have been the exact same before training camp of who's the UDFA most likely to make the roster, and now it's who's the UDFA most likely to be the starter week 1 against the Denver Broncos, and that is Khalil Benson. The answer to both of those guys. And also, what we talked about there near the end of Mansour Delane, that, look, Steve Spagnuolo said in the 10 o'clock hour, so a couple of hours from now, because they had a 10-10-10 practice, a little shorter today. When asked about Mansour Delane, he said the shoulder blade, trying to protect him from himself. Mentally, he's out there doing some things. And then he said, hope to get him back sooner rather than later. We'll see tomorrow. What Albert Breer thought it might have been a couple of weeks in his notebook. But he was also asked about Mansour Delane, Steve Spagnuolo was, and said, what do you want to see from him? And his first response was a lot. Said he hadn't had the work and talked about continuity is going to be an issue because pretty soon they're going to be lining up against Denver. And it's what we talked about in that you can go out there and be in the huddle and the play call on defense, but then you're running over to the sideline and watching other guys take the reps. Like, you need to be taking the reps, moving your hips, having the contact, the hand fighting, the ball is in the air, pads are on. Those are things that he's not doing right now, and he's a rookie. Whether he's a top 10 pick or not, he needs the reps as a rookie to be ready to go. When you've got Sutton and now Jalen Waddle and Marvin Mims for the Denver Broncos, like, you need some guys that can cover out there. And so it's already introducing a bunch of guys to the defense with a new safety calling the shots with Alohi Gilman. And now you're doing that with one of your prime new guys that's just taking mental reps right now. So
not great.
Yeah. I don't want to look back, Sterling, in 4 years. And I worry about this. Sometimes I'm a worrier. I worry that, from what we've seen so far, an injury that took place in May, and he's been non-contact in OTAs and minicamp, and now through training camp, still non-contact. We're 2 weeks in for him. Tomorrow is report day, so Saturday will be 2 weeks of training camp. And if he's 2 weeks away, then you're talking about preseason game number 2 that would have passed before, or he would have just got into pads or contact, I should say, right before preseason game number 2. Now you're looking at one preseason game for him to get live reps before it's go time against the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football, in a game that's pretty important for the Chiefs to win. All of them are, but home game against the Broncos, Monday Night Football, you need that to go in your favor. But I do have a worry from what we already know, or what the only thing that we know. We look back in 4 years, I don't want to be talking about, man, it just, when he was out there, he was awesome. And when he was there, but we saw that shoulder early on. We filed it away. We talked about it. And that's kind of been his career so far.
Couldn't you say the same with Trent McDuffie, though? Year 1?
He had the hamstring in game number 1.
Yeah, I know. But wouldn't that be...
If that hamstring would have happened like in minicamp and he would have been like non-contact this late, I would have said, yeah, I think there's some concern. We kind of chalked that one up to the grass, too, that day, right? So, yeah, there's always a concern when it's a rookie and you haven't seen much from him and he was going to be that valuable. You can always feel that early on. But, again, this is a worry, and it's 15 steps down the road. I just hate to fast forward 4 years from now and be like, man, it's just couldn't ever kick that thing. And it was this, and then the next year was that, and when he was there, he was awesome. Like, he was really good when he was out there, but, just not what you thought you were going to get. I hope this is just a blip on the radar, and Steve Spagnuolo is saying, we're protecting him from himself. Okay. Today was a 10-10-10. It's pretty light. Justin Fields said it's sort of a mental day. Is he going to go out there and throw his shoulder into somebody today? But he's still wearing the quarterback jersey, the yellow non-contact jersey. So, yeah, every day that passes, Sterling, adds a little bit more concern, percentage-wise, until he gets out there and we see him on the field, pads, practicing. But shoulder is better than, as Kent said, I'd much rather be talking about a shoulder than lower leg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
And what Snead went through every year with, it's the knee. He's not practicing. It's like every week he was nursing that knee for the last 2.5 years of his career in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then we see that in Tennessee, it just didn't work. Played 12 total games. So I'd much rather it be a shoulder rather than something with the leg, because I think probably in a have-to-have-it game, let's say it's the playoffs, divisional round championship, and he's got a shoulder issue, would he be more likely to go out there and tough it out and play through rather than...
Jalen Watson did.
Yeah. You're right. It's a good call. That had the labrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, he's got a calf. He can't run. I'm like, well, that sucks. Nothing you can do about that. So, yeah, I do think from that standpoint, it's better that we're talking about this shoulder/shoulder blade.
It's just always hard when you give up that much draft capital. There was a lot of positions of need. It felt like at the time, reach may be a strong word, but it felt a little not what people
aggressive.
Not what people were thinking. It wasn't a wide receiver or an edge rusher. Ruben Bain was on the board. And so that all gets thrown into, well, we also haven't seen him play.
Yeah.
And so when you do all of those things rolled into one, there's going to be cause for concern. It's not necessarily his fault. It's not his fault that he was a great player that got drafted early and then a team traded up for him. But the pressure will be on his shoulders, and one of them's hurt. And so that's not great early on. We'll find out. Maybe this is just, again, a nothing burger. Yeah. Again, I do think Trent McDuffie's at least semi-fair, because once he got injured early in his career, game one, the thought is, well, great. Is this going to be a situation where he's always injured? Will he have lower leg injuries?
This is a Sammy Watkins, just soft tissue every week.
And
some soft tissue injury.
The answer was no. Yeah. It was not. So we'll find out. We'll see. But, yeah, it's definitely at this point concerning. I wouldn't say alarming. I'd say concerning.
And if it was, like, I think the fact that we're talking about McDuffie out and Delane in, like, that is supposed to be switching pieces, that there's not much of a drop-off. You would expect there to be a drop-off. If there's not a drop-off at all, then they nailed it.
Yeah.
But you would expect there to be a drop-off, but not much of a drop-off. You take McDuffie out, you put Delane in. If this was Jadon Kennedy, it'd be like, oh, you want to get him healthy, but they got Kohu, they got some other guys. It's the fact that this is somebody they are relying heavily upon.
CB1, basically.
Yeah, because Christian Fulton is already injured, because that's what he does. He's got the hip issue now. You've got Noel Williams. And then you got a L'Jarius Sneed that is going to be nursing his knee for the rest of his career, however long he plays.
Kyer Elam's maybe the next in line. Kevin Knowles.
Kyer Elam's trying to take out Cyrus Allen for some reason. Not sure.
Melvin
they play different positions, Kyer. Wouldn't you want to take out like Knoll or something like that? How dumb. But yeah, it gets pretty thin if you're saying, well, Christian Fulton, the guy that's always injured, is surprisingly injured again, and Delane isn't out there playing. It's because you feel pretty confident that, as you said, the first 6 games of his career, when he got injured and missed those games with a hamstring, McDuffie's been out there every week. So you feel confident that, well, McDuffie's out there playing.
Yeah.
And now McDuffie's not out there playing, and neither is the guy that you got to replace McDuffie. So that is a considerable drop-off if it's McDuffie to then cornerback 2 or 3 expected to be on this team.
When it comes to UDFA not named Khalil Benson, are you still rolling with Wampa at safety? And if so,
I think so.
Who misses? Who's off?
I don't know. He's running a lot with the 2s.
Yeah.
Like Xavier Wampa's out there, at least from those that are covering it and tweeting it out. And it's like, second string defense. Xavier Wampa's at safety, So I don't know if that's bad news for Hicks. Like it's
or
Hicks.
CRW.
Yeah. But I think CRW got some love. Gosh, was it Albert Breer?
I love CRW. You know my thoughts.
Yeah, but
I've been a fan of his game.
He just got some love about how much the Chiefs like him and what their plans are for him having a safety slot hybrid role. So
more versatility.
I think CRW is safe.
So you think it's between Hicks and Wampa, probably?
I do. I think it's between those guys.
Because I don't think you can have all 5. Because if you have all 5, that means Kohu has to be released or L'Jarius.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not keeping 11 D-backs.
Yeah.
Unless someone is on the PUP list to start the season, but even then you're rolling with 5 safeties. I'm intrigued by the roster breakdown, but then Wampa can also be your special teamer too.
Yeah. where was it? Okay, here it is. Yeah, it was Albert Breer. He said he talks about the safety, cornerback Mansour Delane working his way back from an injury he sustained in the spring. Practice Tuesday, he was dressed. Spagnuolo had him running in and out of the huddle between plays. He could get the calls. Should be part of the equation. He's still a week or two away from returning to practice. This is Albert Breer that he said yesterday or whatever. The coaches are also counting on a big step forward from third rounder Noah Williams. L'Jarius Sneed's return should help inside. And if there's a dark horse here, keep an eye on Christian Roland Wallace, who has developed nicely over the past 3 years as a former undrafted free agent who projects to play in a sort of nickel safety hybrid role. And again, Albert Breer is there, specifically at Chiefs camp. I don't think he's talking to, Joe Q fan in the stands out in St. Joe and going, what do you think about this Christian Roland Wallace?
Joe Q fan does have a very good track record.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I like this. I like CRW. He looks like he could play more. From what I've seen so far, like a hybrid safety.
We sure wasn't talking to me. We sure Albert Breer wasn't talking to me. My love for CRW.
What about Mansour Delane? Let me tell you about CRW. Yeah. But I wanted to get your thoughts on Noah Williams. Yes, a guy who's lining up at cornerback, secondary with Christian Roland Wallace.
Yeah, speaking of a guy whose last name starts with a W, Wallace. Christian Roland.
What about Alohi Gilman, new guy there? Well, Alohi Gilman, the new guy at safety, is going to be in the room with Christian Roland Wallace probably because he's doing this hybrid. What is your obsession with this guy?
Alohi, more like aloha, Christian Roland Wallace.
It means hello and goodbye.
Yeah.
Hopefully for you it's the first one. I don't know if it's goodbye. That's not great. But so we know he's not just randomly walking around going, hey, let me pick your brain, guy. He's getting information from people that would be decision makers and have an idea of the standing with those players on the team. And so mentioning that specifically about Christian Roland Wallace, I think it's of note how he presented it in the if there's a dark horse here. Because I don't think Christian Roland Wallace is a dark horse.
No, I don't think so.
To me, the dark horse would be Xavier Wampa.
Yeah, agreed.
But he's not playing the nickel slot hybrid role. He's just going to be playing what they were hoping Jaden Hicks would be. So, but he doesn't mention Xavier Wampa. He doesn't mention Jaden Hicks either.
I think him and Cole Brevard are probably the two guys you'd have. I'd have an eye on as far as UDFAs in the defensive side.
Yeah.
Offense. Gillenborg, tight end. We obviously know Khalil Benson. That's not really. Yeah. We're not going to talk about that.
Gillenborg out for the year, but Brennan Stool.
Not Gillenborg. Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Brennan Stool. Yeah.
Brennan Stool had a good practice a couple days ago.
Finally back, but again, this is his second year.
Yeah, and he played the role of Gillenborg last year of IR at the beginning or even before training camp to where he was out for the year. And it's like, oh, that sucks.
Didn't Wiley have the same thing, or did he get injured year
Wiley
one?
tore his ACL year one, like I think in October or November, something like that.
The Chiefs love drafting tight ends who get injured or picking up tight ends, UDFAs, that get injured year one, and then
or maybe it's strategy.
Well, yeah,
Gillenborg, this is a really tough injury. Actually, Coach, it feels fine. I'm not sure you're going to be able to. Coach, look, I'm doing jumping jacks. That bone isn't setting well. I'm not sure.
It's a hamstring, too.
Well, no, last year FAU was a hamstring.
FAU
in a preseason game. I don't think he's going to be able to come back.
He can't come back. We have no idea what to do.
I feel like season-ending IR is the only choice here for this guy. Well, no, Coach, look, I'm doing high knees. It feels fine. Man, there's just... That's scar tissue. I don't think
knees aren't high enough. They're not quite getting up there.
You remember Brian Cook down the sideline against the Dolphins in Germany after the strip of Tyreek Hill? That's how high your knee needs to be for us to believe you can play. It's not there, FAU. Sorry. Looks like the IR for you. Last year, Brennan Stool, Coach, I'm fine. Look, I'm cutting him. I just think that pinky is not going to be able to recover this year. I think it's IR for you.
You know what's funny on ESPN? Today's the first day. They switched this earlier today because I refreshed it. And they now have Khalil Benson as the starting right tackle, which is surprising. ESPN doesn't always do that. They still have some things, like they have Cooper McDonald listed as a edge rusher somehow.
Interesting. So they're planning on, did they have Leo Chanel listed as edge rusher maybe? I don't know. And maybe it's just Cooper McDonald's.
Yeah, because they have the strong side as Cole Christensen
left side,
and Cam Arnold. But yeah, no. Again, so take everything with a grain of salt, but at least they do have Cole Benson as starting right tackle. They move Jalen Moore to the twos.
That is interesting, yeah. But Brennan still might be a guy that makes the team because he got a lot. And then next year will be Gillenborg. And then we'll see who next year they bring in as a UDFA tight end that they'll put on the IR to stash for a year and get them rolling so they don't lose them to some other team's, practice squad or something like that. It's just smart strategy.
Smart.
The Eagles do the void years. Chiefs do the IR stash.
Of course. It's baseball. It's a phantom injury that lets them keep them for 15 days.
It's great. Yeah, that's right. It's a 15-day. You know what? I think you got a foot injury there, Estevez.
Yeah. No, my foot's fine. I finished the. No, that's bad. There's a bruise. I see it.
You're only throwing 89. I think that's because of your foot. Now my shoulder. I think I'm going to be fine. I think your foot is the issue.
Do you want the money or not?
It's a foot issue. I think we're going to have to go on the IL. And we'll see if we can. Oh man, you're trying to ramp back up with that foot. Now it's affecting his shoulder, so we're gonna have to put him on the IL long term. But yeah, we'll see. Last year, Robert Tonyan came on, and it was like, oh hey, this was a surprise. And God, where's he at now? Somebody.
Did he go back to play with Aaron Rodgers? Is he in Pittsburgh?
I think he might be. Yeah, he is. And because I was reading notes on different fantasy football, and it was something about Rico Dowdle, but then the next thing was keep an eye on Robert Tonyan, who's having a great camp. I'm like, yeah, we did the same thing last year.
Funny enough, Robert Tonyan was at the tight end university, and he was talking about the interviewer asked every tight end, what's a tight end that you think could have a sneaky good season or break out in 2026? And Robert Tonyan said Noah Gray. I don't know if that means anything, but
I wish he would have said Robert Tonyan.
Yeah, been way better and probably more realistic.
Yeah. He's with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm still holding out hope for Will Dissly. Sorry, I don't care.
Thought you were going to say Trey Watson or whoever the kid from A&M is that was on the practice squad last year.
No one on this team. I'm holding out for Will Dissly still. Sign him. Sign him.
I didn't expect that name.
I will be saying
that it was going to be somebody on the roster in front of you that ESPN has listed at tight end.
No, Will Dissly, free agent still.
I'm still holding out hope that.
Last time I did this was with Richie James. Nailed it.
Yeah, well,
it didn't work out, but nailed it.
Yeah.
Great training camp, though. You can't take that Richie James love away from me.
Well, they didn't go and get Stephon Diggs, so they've got room for Richie James now. So
Will Dissly.
Or Will Dissly.
Keep 5 wide receivers if you have to, and sign Will Dissly.
Maybe.
Get Dissly with it.
Oh yeah, I like that. Not going to sign Stephon Diggs because he is now a Commander. I do think there's something to be said if we look at the bigger picture. Just as a quick one, because we'll do Sports and Leisure at 1:00. If we look at the bigger picture with we mentioned Stephon Diggs there, and yes, if Stephon Diggs on the field would be the best receiver for the Chiefs, it feels like. I mean, you got a guy that had 85 for 1,000 last year, had 47 for 500 the year before in 8 games, which would be 99 for 1,000 over the course of a season. And his last year in Buffalo had 107 and 1,200 with 8 touchdowns. That's the last 3 years for a guy who played for 3 different teams. That's where my question would come in, is if he's this guy and you say he'd be the best receiver on the Chiefs right now, 1, why is he on his 4th team in 4 years? 2, why did it take this long for him to be signed in the NFL? It took until August 4th or 5th, whatever it was, for him to sign, and everybody's at training camp. Those are 2 real questions that I have when teams have said, Buffalo, we're good. Houston, 1 year, we're good. New England, 1 year, we're going to go get A.J. Brown, we're good. And we'll see what the Commanders do at the end of this year, but it's only a 1-year deal for Diggs.
Looks like up to $12 million.
Yeah,
what I've seen.
Up to 12.
I would say to address the argument about his, off the field personality, his concerns, the Chiefs are putting up with a lot more and getting a lot less.
Well, I don't know that it's off the field. It might be in the locker room.
It could be.
It might be in the locker room.
I would probably say that. I mean, he had the one off the field when it was the boat with the substance.
There's some other
sort of
civil. There's some civil things going on.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah. So I guess maybe it's both.
It's both. I would worry more about the locker room. Honestly, maybe the Chiefs aren't in a position to bring on a wide receiver that's had some issues. So
you already have Rashee Rice.
Right.
You can't really.
You got that. But again, I would wonder why it's 4th team in 4 years. He got sideways with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Not sure what happened there in Houston. He tore his ACL. But then he goes to New England, And it was like, well, New England was like, well, we just couldn't bring him in and afford him. And, they wanted to go get A.J. Brown. And like, okay, 1 year up to $12 million. I think you could could have afforded a guy that was your best receiver last year, but you didn't do that. And I think back to it was a Bills video, one of the teams he played on, and it was a question in the locker room.
It was the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, question in the locker room, which teammate would you not let date your sister?
I forgot about that.
And everybody's like, Diggs. Oh, Stephon Diggs. Diggs, hell no. Diggs, stay away from my family. Diggs. I'm like, it's interesting.
Yeah,
and I was on his fourth team in 4 years.
Well, thank God he's not going to be dating my sister. He's going to be catching passes.
I don't need him to date my sister. I need him to catch touchdowns.
From your sister? Quarterback?
That's fine. I don't care who's throwing the touchdowns. Just get in the end zone. That's what I need him to do. Not
1,106 would be pretty tasty right about now.
Also, by the way, half those guys answering didn't even have a sister.
I'll say this. at the station, we should ask that question.
Which person here do you not want to date your sister?
Yeah.
Stu.
I'm a nice guy. I just have a mustache, okay?
There it is.
That is a great question.
Giving out free rides. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. All right, we got some sports or leisure coming up on the other side of the break. 913-381-0810. What was it according to Adam Schefter?
The Chiefs, Dolphins, and Raiders all reached out to Stephon Diggs.
There you go.
So it must have been a money thing.
Could have been a money thing. Could have been, I don't know. I mean, if they reached out to him, could have just been money issue. I don't know.
Could be anything.
Or they reached out to him while doing their due diligence around the league. Who knows? But that's of note because even if they don't sign Stephon Diggs, it's the fact that they're reaching out to a wide receiver.
You're into sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We head up until 2 o'clock. One more hour to go on a Thursday. Handing it off to the program. We got some best of coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, the Hall of Fame game, Cardinals-Panthers, right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. 913-381-0810 is the phone number to play some sports or leisure. 913-381-0810, sports or leisure. We're playing for $25 to Johnny's Tavern. You give us a call, and if you win, you're going to get $25 to the premier sports bar around Kansas City, 10 area locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. It is Johnny's Tavern, where you can go and watch the game tonight if you want to do that. Put on the Royals game and the Hall of Fame game. You can see both of those and enjoy yourself some food and some apps, some Wilson wings, some Espinachos, many things there at Johnny's that you can enjoy. Some pie. And $25 can be yours heading to Johnny's to help you out with that bill, or some drinks, things like that, at Johnny's. 913-381-0810 is the phone number. Let's go through the categories today in sports or leisure. On the sports side, just a couple of categories today. We've got Major League Baseball, and we have Go UDFA Yourself. Those are the categories today. Major League Baseball, and you can go UDFA yourself. Sterling?
Always riddles. Potpourri, otherwise known as potpourri, and name that band, Sterling's favorites.
Name that band.
It's basically all classic rock to make it easier on people, I think.
I like it.
To make it easier on
Yeah,
folk.
you know what?
But songs I like by a lot of classic rock bands.
Yes, and they're not necessarily deep cuts. They're pretty...
Most are. I mean, they're not going to be like
popular.
Back in Black or Hell's Bells, but like, yeah,
there's a middle ground.
There's a middle ground here. Yeah,
from deep cuts to number one hits.
Yeah, there'll be more of a middle ground in here.
That works. 913-381-0810 is the phone number. We got full board. I'm ready to go. Sterling, you ready to play?
Yeah, why not?
Michael,
let's do it.
All right, let's head to the phone lines, and we bring in first up, first on. It is Cajun, who was quick to get in to play the game. Cajun, what's up, brother? Sports or leisure? What we thinking for today?
Let's do leisure first.
All right, what are you thinking, Cajun?
Man, your taste in music, I don't know what you consider classic rock, but let's try classic rock.
All right, Riding the Storm Out.
Oh, your Speedwagon.
Yeah, baby, love that. The live one's great.
I used to have the live version of that.
Yeah, when you hear the siren in the background, you know, bleep's about to go down.
And I had no idea back then I was going to end up living in Kansas City, where Oreo Speedwagon is from, and where that song is.
You nailed it.
Was it 157 Riverside Avenue? Is that what it is?
Sterling, is that the
Oreo songs?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break your brain. All right, go.
No, that's fine.
my brain is broken, Cajun.
Well, yeah, it's not. Believe me, it ain't you that broke the brain. All right. On to
I'm
the
sure
sport.
someone will correct me if it's not. Something Riverside Avenue, great old Oreo song.
Yes. All right, Major League Baseball, and go UDFA yourself. We have it's all Royals on Major League Baseball except for one non-Royals question. May not be the easiest, but that's what we're looking at for today.
Well, let's do a Royals question, please.
Royals question for you. All right, let's go with this one. You know, we've mentioned Tyler Tolbert and his crazy stretch that he had when he had the 12 consecutive at-bats with hits, but he had a stretch where he had back-to-back games, 5 hits. So it tied a Royals record for the most hits in a 3-game span. Can you name either of the two players to have 12 hits in a 3-game span for Tyler Tolbert?
Okay, I'm going to give you one guess. Let's say Mike Sweeney.
Sweendog is not a bad guess, but that is incorrect. In fact, one of his teammates did it, and then an older generational player.
I actually think I heard you guys talking about that not that long ago.
Yeah, it's definitely not the free space, but
all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I'll let you throw another dart if you want to, if you heard us talking about it, because that's, I mean, if you're listening in and it helps you get the answer. I'll go.
Back at that time, Carlos Beltran.
It isn't Carlos, but that's also another good guess. Cajun, you're the man. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, man.
Yes, sir. 913-381-0810. That question is out there. No Sweeney and no Carlo Beltran, but a Sweeney teammate and somebody that was before. him.
We had this one, I believe, last time.
Did we really? I've already asked this one?
I think so.
I thought I scratched it out. The ones that I had asked. If not, hey, let's roll.
Let's roll,
That's
baby.
good. There have been
That guy was rolling.
There were a couple of other questions with Tyler Tolbert that we got to last week that have been hanging around.
I was so crossed up last week. I was like, that's not the right answer.
Six-hit guy. It was a six-hit guy?
Yep, there was the 6-hit guy last week. So I know we definitely did that one.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right, let's go to Tim next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Tim, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with?
It's me.
It's you, Tim. It's you.
I'm in the heart of downtown I-70 driving in traffic, so I'm not necessarily hearing everything. Let's see here. I think REO is more likely from St. Louis, though, but I may be wrong. I know they all met at the University of Illinois, Champaign. Band.
He said he was downtown.
That last sports question Cajun had, because I'm thinking, unless you got a Steve Miller song of the same name, like for the music. The Joker, I'm getting.
Well, so let's get to this. Oddly enough, we talked about last week. We gave that 6-hit question, and Joe Randa was the answer there. But he didn't have 6 other hits in the 2 other games that would have been in that span to give him 12 hits in a 3-game span. So 3 games, yeah. So 3 straight games had 12 hits. So Sweeney and Beltran have been guessed.
So I'm thinking Seitzer again, because he was a pretty darn good hitter.
Seitzer is correct. Seitzer did it in 87. The Mike Sweeney teammate was John Damon.
I was going to say the John Damon or Jermaine Dye. I was going there.
Johnny Damon did it in 2000. Seitzer did it in 87. The other hint I was going to give was this guy was Sweeney's teammate. The other guy would have been Sweeney's hitting coach if he stayed with the Royals 2 more years. Because Seitzer came on a couple of years after Sweeney. Over to leisure now. Let's see what you get with Sterling.
Yeah, I got to go with the classic rock.
Okay. Don't talk to strangers.
That's just a good hint. Or, I mean, a good advice.
Yeah, it's good advice.
Jesse's Girl, Rick Springfield.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, same guy. I love that song. Don't talk to strangers. I like that better than Jesse's Girl. I mean, when you talk about Jesse's Girl, what a bleep. Trying to take his friend's girl.
I mean,
dude.
You're not wrong. That is a jerk move.
What a jerk move.
Was it the Jimmy Kimmel sketch where they had the making of Jesse's Girl?
Is that what it is?
The drummer was there, and it was Jesse, and his girlfriend was there. They were writing the song, and the lead singer is Jesse's Girl. Hold up. What do you... Hey, man, why are you stopping the song? It just says, I'm not even talking about her. And then he starts pointing to her and winking at her. What is your problem? It is not about her, man.
And then he starts singing, don't talk to strangers. Baby, don't you talk. Don't talk to Jesse.
It's a very, it's a clever sketch that they put together about the making of that song. So that's a winner for Tim, correct?
That is a winner.
Timmer. We'll put you on hold, Tim. Get your information. Congratulations. 913-381-1010. We had a little bit of an issue with the phone lines as just cut all the people off that were on hold. So 913-381-1010 is the phone number. So if you were on hold, call right back. If not, now's the time to get in at 913-381-1010. We got some Major League Baseball with the Royals, and we got some Go UDFA yourself.
We have Potpourri, obviously.
Potpourri.
Riddles, and then name that band.
There you go.
Sterling's Favorites.
913-381-1010. It was... I had to go back and look before I gave the hint about Seitzer, because I'm like, man, I wonder if Seitzer was ever Sweeney's hitting coach. And no, he was not Sweeney's hitting coach.
Close, though.
Yeah, he took over in 2009, and Sweeney's last year with the Royals was 2007. So,
by the way, yesterday I thought of another one when I got home. Not just Ryan O'Hearn, Alex Gordon. Third base to left field.
It's true. That would have been a better one.
It would have been a way better one.
Yes.
And I thought of it in the parking lot. I go,
yeah.
Dang it.
But he did get hurt a lot more in left field than he would have at third base. He did all that wall running into that he had.
Billy Butler.
I don't think they should. If they were ever to retire Alex Gordon's number, I think it should just be in the left field wall.
Yeah.
Like embossed in the left field wall. within the padding.
Yeah,
of it.
just a picture, like an imprint of him.
Yes,
would be great.
But it's like not even on the padding. Like you got to push the padding in like a couple of inches and then have that outline because it's got to be he's in the wall.
Yeah,
runs into it. I think that's the way that you would do that. All right, 913-381-0810. Greg next up on Sports Radio 810. Greg, sports or leisure? What side would you like to start with? Greg, you there, bud?
He may have muted himself.
Greg,
Greg, are you muted?
He might be muted.
Did you mute yourself? Check your phone.
There we go. Got him.
Can you hear me?
I got you now, Greg.
Sorry, guys.
You are all good, man. Happens a lot. So what are you thinking, sports side or the leisure side?
I'd like to start with leisure, please.
All right, what are you thinking? Potpourri, riddles, or name that band?
Name that band.
All right. Two of my favorites from this band. Touch Too Much and Beating Around the Bush.
Is that a metaphor?
I wonder if it is. Could be. The band was known for a lot of metaphors.
Is that right?
Well, I knew the other question.
Oh, come on. You know this one. This is the most famous band of all the ones that I've said.
Oh, I thought you meant of like all time.
Up there. This is probably top 5.
No kidding.
Yes.
Any hint? Any hints at all?
I mean, Touch Too Much is, and Beating Around the Bush, these are both massive songs. It's really hard to give anything else away. If I do any more, is
it Sugar
Night Prowler?
Sugar Ray?
No, it is
the
not
greatest
Sugar.
band of all time. I'm just thinking like who would be in the conversation of greatest bands of all time. So Sugar Ray comes to mind for me.
I mean, this is I can't give too much away. I mean, then it wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
These were two very big songs.
That's too much. 80s or 70s or 80s?
Well, they were in both, but I think this would have been 80s. Or was it 79?
I got him.
This was in 79. Yeah, this was 79.
Okay. If it helps you at all, it was right before I was born, so I mean, I don't know if that's a good hint or not.
That does help. The Cars. I don't know.
It is
The
not
Cars?
the Cars.
Oh man, Greg, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. I think Stevie Ray would have been a good guess. I'm not sure it was Stevie Ray, but maybe Sugar Ray.
This
Ray.
This was a single on the album too.
Yes. Let's go to Shane next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Shane, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Hey guys, sports please.
We got
UDFA yourself.
Yes, I like that. Thank you for going and UDFAing yourself. All right, coming off back-to-back Super Bowls, the Chiefs were in need of a running back to help with depth that season. They had an underperforming high draft pick and a late-round pick that was expected to handle a bigger workload. But it was a long-haired player out of UCLA that became a fun story around St. Joe, not just the Gators driving around, but one that became a bigger, funny storyline around this player.
Oh man, I can picture this guy too, and his blanking. I think
it was number 42.
Long blonde hair,
Yep.
that gator, pet gator.
The hair is what stood out first, and then he had the, was it Crocky J?
Yeah.
Name of his gator?
Crocky J.
I think it's number 42.
Yeah. I don't know how that helps, but he was number 42.
Probably loved metal.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I bet he did, music-wise, probably, I'd assume.
Kind of a thief.
Oh, yeah. I think it's, Carson Steele. Is that right?
Yeah, there we go.
Nice job. There you go. He was. My next hint would have been, it's sort of a klepto.
Yeah.
But yes, Carson Steele is correct with his fun gator, Crocky J. What a fun thing to name an alligator, Crocky J. My wife had a pony that they named Bear, I think. Or was it Bunny? Either way. Yes, my wife is from a family where she literally got a pony. Sterling, leisure.
All right. Do you want to do the question that's currently out there, a fresh one, or a different category?
I'll have to admit, I don't know the answer to that question's out there, but I would like, can you give me a fresh one on the name of that band?
Yeah. Cult of Personality.
Oh, I got it.
Living Color.
Living Color.
In Living Color, that's right.
Not in.
That's right.
the
Fire
show.
Marshal Bill was
Yeah.
So good in the background singing that one.
Love
It's
Rumors
great.
Ugly Head. I love Living Color. That
right.
band kicked a lot of ass.
They're an underrated band. It's not just that song. They've got a lot of good stuff.
Oh, it was
Right.
great. It was great. That whole second, third album, I think, was just outstanding. What was that called? Yeah, Corey Glover kicks a lot of ass.
Yeah, background dancer Jennifer Lopez was cool. So they did a lot of really cool stuff at that time.
Yeah,
so.
Vivid and Vivid and Time's Up.
Yep, Homie don't play that. Yeah, that's right.
right.
Yeah, he wasn't playing around. Shane, we'll put you on hold to get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Yes, you too. 913-381-810-810. We go to Craig next up on Sports Radio 810. Craig, Sports or Leisure, what side would you like to start with?
I would try leisure.
All right.
The music trivia or whatever the
Yeah,
category
sure.
was.
Do you want the one that's already out there that touched too much and beating around the bush, or do you want a fresh one?
What was that? Talk too much?
Touch too much. She's got the touch. The touch too much.
No.
Fresh one?
Fresh one, I guess.
All right. Last Chance. Breakout.
Kansas City, Shawnee Mission South on Shooting Star.
Yes, correct.
Nice
Nailed
job.
it. Good job, baby.
Shoot, I thought you were going to go with Park Hill Zone, Puddle of Mud. But no, it was.
No, shockingly, it was
okay. I didn't know.
Shooting Star.
I didn't know. All right, I'm not a music guy, Sterling. Okay, on the sports side.
And now this is when I crap the bed on this one.
That's all right. You know what? We'll just try to use the bathroom before we lay down this time. Okay.
You got anything easy on that side?
Well, we got Major League Baseball, and we've got the Go UDFA yourself. Not sure what would be easy because I'm not sure what your strengths are or weaknesses.
I guess Major League Baseball.
Okay.
Strike out on this thing.
Well, that's all right. More Royals question or the one general Major League Baseball question we have? What are you thinking?
Oh, I guess we'll try Royals.
Very good. Noah Cameron went 19 consecutive innings without allowing a run before the fourth inning last night. There should still be a streak that's going on, but that's neither here nor there. Can you tell me who holds the Royals record for consecutive innings without allowing a run? So consecutive scoreless innings. Noah Cameron got to 19.
Ooh.
Who has the record? Let me just tell you, Noah Cameron was halfway there, which is the next song for Sterling in the bands with Living on a Prayer.
No, I'm not a big Bon Jovi guy.
Whatever.
Shoot.
Bon Jovi's not the answer to this one.
What era? We're looking roughly.
Let's just say he between rings. A pretty significant pitcher for the Royals in there. And the height of, great Royals pitchers that they've had.
Shoot. Man, I don't have a clue. I don't want to waste your time, and I'm so mad because I got the Shooting Star.
You can just throw a
so
dart
easily.
as to who was all it takes is, 4 or 5 starts in a row, maybe in a year where he was just unhittable towards a Cy Young. But what are you thinking for consecutive scoreless innings?
Greinke.
Greinke's right. Greinke's right. There you go.
Are you kidding me?
Greinke's right. Yes, you got it.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe it. I just pulled that out of it.
And Craig,
it's hard to do this when you're driving.
And Craig, I love it because I do believe you that you just pulled that out, that you were not Googling it.
The bet is clean, Craig. The bet is clean.
I love it.
No, I am
know you
driving. I'm
Yes.
out of gas. And,
oh, no. Well, see?
No,
You didn't poop the bed.
I pulled the rabbit out of the hat.
There we go.
I am
See,
so happy.
We went to the bathroom right before we went to bed. So there we go. We got it. Craig, we'll put you on hold.
Thank
Get your
you so
information,
much, guys.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
You got it, man. Love that. Greinke. 38 consecutive scoreless innings for Zach Greinke. We'll take a timeout. He's getting $25 at Johnny's Tavern. We're taking a break. We'll come back. More Zone next.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons? 1, it's easy. 2, it's fast. 3, the results.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Thursday night, football returns to Sports Radio 810 WHB. At 7 p.m., it's Westwood One's presentation of the Hall of Fame game in Canton. Scott Graham and James Lofton have the call to the matchup between the Cardinals and Panthers. All game long, Hall of Fame guests will be dropping by the booth to share stories and talk about the start of the 2026 season. Once again, Sports Radio 810 WHB is your home for the NFL in Kansas City. It all starts Thursday night at 7 live from Canton, Arizona, and Carolina, and the Hall of Fame game on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The Sports Radio 810 app is available now for both Android and Apple. All you have to do is search Sports Radio 810 WHB and take the station with you wherever you go. While you're there, listen to live programming, find archived podcasts from your favorite shows, and much more. The Sports Radio 810 app is your source for all local and national sports in Kansas City. Download it today for Apple or Android. The Sports Radio 810 app is presented by Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
Hi, this is John with Pyramid Roofing. When it comes to protecting your home or business, experience and trust matter. For more than 30 years, Pyramid Roofing has protected Kansas City homes with top quality materials and expert craftsmanship built to withstand tough winters and the hottest summers. If you think your roof may have damage, let my team take a look and give you an honest assessment. Call 816-966-1101 or visit pyramidroofingkc.com. Pyramid Roofing, your home deserves the best.
Great deals are always in season at Suede Cannabis Dispensary. Enjoy ongoing specials and free same-day delivery. Visit www.suede.shop to explore a wide selection of deli-style options. Shop now and save big at any of their 5 KC Metro locations at www.suede.shop. Every visit is a new adventure at the Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium. Discover nearly 10,000 animals.
What song is this, Sugar Ray?
Riding. The only reason I remember this song is because we played it for Matt Derrick once.
Did we? You like this one, Sterling?
Yeah, Riding the Storm. The live one's way better.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Did you go see him in concert?
I think I saw with Kansas at Sandstone a long time ago. It may have been Shooting Star REO Speedwagon in Kansas.
I don't know what Kansas. What Sandstone is. What is that?
You know Sandstone.
I'm not sure. What's the name?
I think it's a sure now. I don't know. I don't know. It's a color.
Yeah, sandstone. Nice. There you go. 913-381-810 is the phone number. Playing a little sports or leisure. $25 to Johnny's Tavern. Congrats to Craig. He got $25 to Johnny's Tavern.
Proud of you, Craig.
Yes, Craigie baby. As Kadog used to say when Craig Brenner was running the program. Craig baby. 913-381-810. Let's go to next up is Dwayne here on Sports Radio 810 for a little sports or leisure. Dwayne, what side you thinking that you want to start with? Sports side or the leisure side?
I want to try that electrifying leisure question that's out there.
Touch too much. You're beating around the bush.
AC/DC.
Yes, thank you.
So
I was getting
break.
so mad. I actually was cussing in the hallway going,
he did.
How the bleep don't people know two of the best AC/DC songs, the last album with Bon Scott in 1979 of Highway to Hell.
Remember how animated I got yesterday over a random Jack Caglione? That was Sterling just with anybody that walked by yelling about AC/DC.
Yes.
It was odd.
Like, I'm 32. I was not born when this came out. Shocking, I know. But some of the callers probably listen to this, I would assume, at some point. How do you not remember Touch Too Much or Beating Around the Bush? They were great songs.
Well, Dwayne, I'm glad you were on the phone for that. And thank you for getting the AC/DC right. So we now get Sterling that can move on.
Am I wrong, Dwayne? Am I wrong?
Is he right, Dwayne?
I think you were stressing out. It's good that I got it.
There you go. Thank you. All right, over to the sports side. No stress here. Major League Baseball, Royal stuff, and go UDFA yourself.
Well, Mama's getting hungry, so give me an easy Royals question.
I'll give you a Royals question. Who knows if it's easy? Depends on what you go with. Okay, so we just said that Zach Greinke holds the record for consecutive scoreless innings pitched. That happened over 2 seasons. Who holds the Royals record for consecutive scoreless innings pitched in the same season? It's not Greinke. I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you it's also not Vin Mazzaro.
It is not Vin Mazzaro. Some people would have guessed Vin Mazzaro, so thank you for giving them that hint. It's also not George Brett, typically the free space. It is not George Brett.
Is it?
Sterling.
I'm trying to think.
How about
Is
that?
it 33 consecutive innings by chance?
I mean, 33 is the exact number.
Wade Davis?
Actually, I don't know. I guess we were thinking starters, weren't we?
Oh.
No.
Does that count?
No, because let me go back and look real quick at the post-game notes. Let's see.
Also, he wasn't quite. Wade Davis.
I don't know.
It was 33 appearances for Wade Davis. It was 31.2.
There it is. So 33 appearances.
So not quite the same.
But that is crazy that 33 is the number by this particular pitcher, who, by the way, was a starter.
Yeah. We'll give you another guess because that was a great guess.
Yeah, that was a good guess. You had me doubting myself, so I'm like, okay, I guess I got to go pull up the post-game notes or the pre-game notes for yesterday's ball game because that's where I got this question from. Leading into Noah Cameron.
For a starter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think he was also a teammate of Mike Sweeney. Very briefly.
Yeah.
At the end of his time here and the beginning of Swing Dogs.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
In fact, would he have thrown to Sweeney?
I love fruit. Kind of works.
I'm more of the Gorillas in the Mist type guy. You want to throw a dart, pitcher?
I can't think of anybody right now.
Oh, hey, Dwayne, thank you for playing, man. 913-381-810 is the phone number. That question is out there.
Wade Davis was a great guess.
It's a great guess, man.
I assume that he'd be third on this list then, right? Or second in the for that 31 2/3.
Got to go find my the pregame notes from yesterday. The Rawls. Oh well, I'll look for that while we bring on our next contestant. And holding the longest is right now John, next up on Sports Radio 810. John, sports or leisure, what side do you like to start with? I went all the way back to Tuesday.
Well,
go to Wednesdays.
How are you?
How are you, man?
Let's go with the Kevin Napier answer.
There we go. Kevin Napier.
Which one do you mean? Which question? Yes, Kevin Napier, 33 consecutive innings pitched in the same season since Greinke's went over the course of 2 different seasons to get to 38. Yes, it was
I thought
Kevin
fruit
Napier.
is in like instead of a pear, it'd be a pear.
That's why I was gorillas in the mist, but apes. Yeah. We you know what?
Not the best
I was
hints we've
looking
ever
at the
given.
answer, and I still had no idea where you guys
it
were
wasn't
going.
the best hints we've ever given.
I don't know
but
that
sorry,
John
Kevin
needed it.
Napier is tough to give hints for.
But I don't think John needed it, though. I think that's the beautiful part is John was like, no hints needed, dude.
Wait, David said over 33 appearances.
There it was.
There we go.
Over to Sterling for some leisure.
Potpourri, riddles, or name that band.
Let's go with riddles.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What occurs once in a minute, twice in a moment, and never in 1,000 years?
Oh, man, I missed the beginning of that. I was looking up
Since Jason was looking at his phone.
Yeah, I was getting the pregame notes from yesterday when I got the question about Noah Cameron.
What
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes.
Yeah. What occurs once in a minute, twice in a moment, and never in 1,000 years? The hint.
Once in a minute.
Twice in a moment, and never in 1,000 years. I will say this one's easier if you're able to write it out.
Oh, yeah.
Man, what else you got?
That was probably the easier one, but this is the
Was
other
it?
one. Since you did riddles, I'll give you a second riddle to choose from. What has a... This one's just dumb, but yeah. What has a bottom at the top?
A bottle.
I guess, yeah, that would work. I'll count it. You know what? I'll count it. It does have a bottom at the top because you drink out of it. So yeah, I'll give you that one. The answer is legs. Your legs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have a bottom at the top. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
I figured out the answer
Did you
to that
figure
one.
out the
Yeah,
other
you
one?
got literally,
It's
you're right. You got to write
if
it out.
you write it out, it's pretty easy. But if you don't, that was tough. So yes, congratulations. I'll give you a bottle because bottle does work and beers.
And Johnny's Tavern, they probably give you a draft. They give you a bottle too, I would guess. So $25 at Johnny's Tavern is yours, John. You can head to your tavern. We'll put you on hold. Congratulations. Well done.
Have a great Thursday.
Yes, you too. 913-381-0810. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, you see that riddle
once, twice.
And never in 1,000, yeah.
Yep, that's right. To Joel we go on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Joel, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with?
Hey, guys. Let's start with sports.
Okay, we got Royals questions. We don't have any out there. We got some fresh ones. We got a general Major League Baseball question, and then we got some Go UDFA yourself.
You got any? Is there any NFL in that sports section?
The Go UDFA yourself is Chiefs. So it's undrafted free agents that became names. So it's not just random undrafted free agents for the Chiefs. They became players.
Let's give it a try.
Okay. This man started turning heads early in training camp. A defensive tackle that wasn't invited to the combine, mainly because he was playing at a Division II school. From the state, he got the chance with the Chiefs as a rookie invite and made the training camp roster and eventually the initial 53-man roster. He played in all 16 games his rookie year and 5 overall years in Kansas City, having to come back from a torn ACL, being a part of a defense that helped him get to 3 straight Super Bowls, leaving in free agency after earning a big payday.
Oh, my gosh. D tackle, you said?
Mm-hmm. Fun nickname, too.
Oh, my gosh. I can think of his name. No, I'm trying to think what that guy's name was. He was on all 3 Super Bowl teams?
Yes. Went to 3 straight Super Bowls with him, tore his ACL, came back.
It's not.
With the help of Pilates.
Oh my gosh. Not Pinnell?
Nope.
Okay. Is that my guess? I'm trying to rack my brain right now.
No, that's not your guess. You said it's not Pinnell.
Okay.
That wouldn't be your guess.
Yeah.
He's got a fun nickname. Sterling was a big fan of this guy, and I've been told he's one of the hardest workers that anybody on the Chiefs, which is how you go from a camp invite, undrafted, non-combine invite, to then get yourself the contract that he got 5 years later, and coming back from an ACL tear to boot.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, I'm racking my brain, guys.
Well, you know what? Some people might have some skin blemishes that are on top of the skin that you would rub and maybe have to have removed.
Oh, Wharton?
Yeah, there you go. We'll take the last name. Turk Wharton. Yes, yeah. Turk Wharton. Well done. There you go. See, Wart. Got it, right? I mean, come on.
Thank you. That was a great suggestion.
Who knows? Yes, Turk Wharton. I knew you knew who it was.
Wow.
But, yeah, Turk Wharton. You like that?
Missouri S&T.
Yeah, that's right. Got himself a huge payday. Good for him. Good for him. So there you go. That's
I don't think it's a winner yet. You have not done leisure yet, correct? Have you?
No, I've not done leisure yet.
Yeah, that's right.
We have that one riddle out there. We have Name That Band, and we have Potpourri.
I'm terrible at music. What's Potpourri one?
Potpourri is just random questions. Could be anything. Just like very.
Yeah, let's go. Let's try it.
Okay. In a quest to replace rubber, James Wright accidentally invented what common toy?
Oh my gosh.
Think about it. Think about a toy that's rubbery.
Oh. Yeah, you're right.
I'm not going to make you ask the hardest question. No one knows who James Wright is.
No, you're right.
Is he one of the Wright brothers?
No, hey, the putty stuff that's in the little the egg container, silly putty.
Silly putty, correct. Yes, it is silly putty. Yeah. So James Wright tried to replace rubber, instead came up with silly putty.
How about that?
There you go.
See, would have
pretty
known?
fun.
Who would have?
We learn on this show.
There you go.
James Wright was wrong.
That's right. Take that. Well, you know what? 1,000 different ways to not invent a light bulb. Am I right? Joel, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Yes. That's right. So there you go. Got that one right. That's great. Pilates by Kaylee. That's where Turk went and turned himself from an undrafted free agent into a phenomenal defensive tackle. So there you go. Pilates work.
Yeah.
For a lot. I mean,
I'm a yoga man, but
you're a defensive tackle. You got to be flexible. Your body's put in all different types of positions where you got to have the strength, hold your strength. I mean, that clearly worked out for him. He was a big advocate of Pilates, was Turk Wharton. Let's go to Matt next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Matt, sports or leisure? What side would you like to start with?
Hey, guys. Is the riddle still out there, the minute one?
Correct. Yes, it is.
I think it's the letter M.
It is the letter M. What occurs once in a minute, twice in a moment, and never in 1,000 years. That is the letter M.
Yep, that's right. Nice job. Over to the sports side, we have Major League Baseball, and we have go UDFA yourself. We have a couple more UDFA questions and a few baseball.
Let's go UDFA.
Okay. All right. Let's go with this one. An undrafted free agent out of Middle Tennessee by the Cowboys. Chiefs made a late preseason trade to acquire the player. Finally got his shot later in his rookie year because the Chiefs needed, let's be honest, anybody to help them play cornerback and help in the secondary. He helped them win their first Super Bowl in 50 years and get a lucrative contract, just not with the Chiefs.
Charvarius Ward.
That is right. Lil Mooney, Charvarius Ward. If I had to give the hint, I would have said
Sterling's favorite player.
Well, I would have said that. I would have also said when we got to know him his rookie year, he had red hair. He had the red hair there. And,
or my favorite thing when they asked him, "Hey, Travarius, why do you wear glasses? To make myself look more intelligent." One of my favorite lines. I love that one.
You know what? It works. It works for a lot of people. Matt, that's a winner. That was quick. That was a quick one, Matt. Well done. We'll put you on hold. Get your information. Nice job.
All right, thanks, guys.
How about that? Going to Johnny's a little quickie there for a winner. 913-810-810 is the phone number. I'm just saying it was like a minute and a half.
Yeah, it was nice. It was quick.
Right, yeah. Let's go to Brian next up. Brian on Sports Radio 810. Brian, sports or leisure, what side do you want to work with?
Let's try leisure. Name that band.
Name that band. Who's Crying Now and Stone in Love.
Journey. Steve Perry.
That is
Steve Perry.
Journey.
Steve Perry. And I should have been over to sports. We've got you can go UDFA yourself, or we have Royals Major League Baseball.
Go UFDA yourself.
Okay, very good. I like it. Unfree drafted agents. Those are guys that cost money as drafted.
Yeah.
And mainly the agents, not even the guys who were drafted. Last one for UDFAing yourself. I've used this one before in the past. The other ones were fresh. This one I've used before in the past just because I love the story. Undrafted and signed by the Chiefs as a punter. He asked Marv Levy if he could switch to defensive back. Levy okayed the move.
Deron Cherry.
There we go. Thank you. I did not have to finish the last part of War and Peace. There we go.
He went to Rutgers, didn't he?
Yeah, still cut before the season started. But they had a defensive back get injured. They called him back, gave him a shot, and look at that, 5-time All-Pro.
I always laugh and say, imagine in college he lays you out, and someone's like, "Yo, the punter laid your ass out, dude," and you realize, oh wait, that's Deron Cherry.
It's the opposite of Brian Moorman.
Yeah,
in the Pro Bowl. All right, well done. That's
a winner.
That's a winner too. Wow, back-to-back quickies. Brian, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
How about that? 913-381-810. Let's take a break. We'll come back and see if we have time for any more contestants. If you're on hold, we'll try to get you in for a little sports or leisure. More Zone coming up next. Thursday edition wrapping things up here. One final segment. Playing a little sports or leisure. 913-381-810. We, on the sports side, the only category we have left is the baseball. Royals and one general baseball question. And leisure, what do we got left in the categories?
We have potpourri and name that band.
There we go. You can name the band, you can potpourri, which a lot of bands did anyway.
Yeah.
So let's go to the phone lines, and waiting to play is Wade to play a little sports or leisure. Wade, what side you thinking that you want to start with?
Yeah, I'll do the leisure. Is that band question still there?
Which one? I think they're all new.
The category, or was there a specific question?
What was the song?
What was the band you were thinking?
Love?
Oh no, Journey. That's already been answered.
That got answered.
Oh,
Yeah.
answer that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start with music again.
Okay, Rebel Yell.
Say that one more time.
Rebel Yell.
Billy Idol.
That is
Nice
Billy
job.
Idol. Yeah, Billy Idol.
Well done.
Yeah, love that song.
That's right. Over the sports side, you get $25 to Johnny's Tavern. We have Royals and just one general Major League Baseball question. That's the category we have left. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll probably do the Royals. The undrafted free agent's pretty tough.
Yeah. All right, Royals for you. You know what? Let's go with this one. I think this would be the easier of the ones that are left. So we named, I got a lot from these pregame notes yesterday. We named the consecutive scoreless innings streak overall with Zach Greinke. We named the consecutive scoreless innings in the same season with Kevin Appier. Now I'd like you to tell me who holds the Royals record for consecutive scoreless innings as a lefty. There are two answers here. One, somebody holds the record as a lefty for a starter. And the other one, somebody holds the record for a lefty overall innings as a reliever. So you got a reliever or a starter that I'll take the answer to.
Oh, reliever or starter? Okay, a lefty. What's the closest hint you can give me to the era?
Very recent. Both of them.
Very recent lefty?
Both of them very recent. So either the starter or the reliever.
Starter, reliever.
Yep.
All right, I got two guesses, but I'll go with my first one on the gut. Danny Duffy.
More recent than that.
More recent than that, Daniel Lynch.
Daniel Lynch is correct. Nice job. Daniel Lynch holds the overall record for lefties in consecutive scoreless innings at 30.2, in which he did over 24 and then 25. Do you or Sterling want to throw a dart as to who the lefty starting pitcher is for 26 consecutive scoreless innings?
Is that recent as well?
He did this in 2023. And the only time he'd have been doing it in 2023 would have been late in the season.
Probably Chris Bubich after injury or something like that.
This is when we were
2023, pretty bad. But there's a specific reason as to why this guy would only be able to do it late 2023.
Late
as a lefty starter.
I'm trying to think who was on.
You've already won, so you don't need to get it. You've already won anyway. Sterling?
I still want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much time.
That's fine. Take all the time you want.
Lefty,
Sure.
2023.
There's a reason why he wouldn't have been able to do this before the trade deadline.
There's a reason.
He could have only have done it after the trade deadline as a lefty,
obviously,
as a lefty starter. And would carry over that year into a pretty amazing year the next year for the Royals as a lefty starter.
Did we get him in that trade?
We did receive him in the trade.
We did. Okay.
I'll just say he's not pitching right now. It'd be nice if he was.
Yeah.
Oh, Reagan's, duh.
Yeah, Cole Reagan's.
Oh my God.
We're gonna get there eventually. We're gonna
I
get
was
there
like,
eventually.
what am I doing?
Wade will put. It's the end of the show, Sterling.
Yeah.
It's the last couple minutes. Brains are fried. Wade will put you on hold. You won anyway. Congratulations, $25, Johnny's Tavern. That's why I said there's a specific reason as why he could not have done it early in 2023.
I don't know why. I thought Reagan's I was like thinking 24. Then you
Right.
said, I was like, yeah, you dumb bastard. What are you doing?
It's not a schooner, it's a sailboat.
It's a Colreagan.
It's not a Boobich, it's a Reagan.
It's a Reagan.
You know what? A Boobich is a Reagan's. They're both lefties that are often injured.
God.
Oh,
I'm mad at myself.
That's great. So lefties. So now that we have exhausted everybody that's had consecutive scoreless innings in Royals history.
All right, who had a 3-inning scoreless inning stretch? And the answer is clearly not Matt Strom.
This guy holds the record for consecutive outings and unable to not give up a home run.
Yeah.
Strom, that's right. That is right. And you know what? UDFA, just take off the U is the hint we would give for this guy, DFA, because that's what he was. Did you get any questions that you didn't?
No, they eventually all got answered.
All of them got answered. So there you go. I think every one of my questions that I had today ready to go was.
It was a good day for sports and/or leisure.
That's right. All of my UDFAs were exhausted. Now I got to come up with more for next week.
Speaking of exhausted, apparently my brain trying to think of that question.
It's a full hour of trivia. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of trivia.
It's a lot of trivia. Full hour of it. All right, that'll do it here for The Zone on a Thursday. Don't forget, coming up tonight, 7 o'clock, the Hall of Fame game right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. So if you're going to be out and about, maybe at Johnny's Tavern or driving right here on Sports Radio 810, maybe some football practice, maybe some basketball, maybe some fall baseball, maybe some soccer, maybe some volleyball, maybe whatever, dancing, cheerleading. If you're just out and about, right here on Sports Radio 810, Cardinals, Panthers. Sterling, will you watch the game tonight?
No, I'll be at Power and Light.
Oh, that's right.
Actually, yeah, I'll probably be at Johnny's at Power and Light for Thursday Night Football, and I'll probably be watching the concert.
You got the Hot Country Nights tonight.
Hot Country Nights.
Is it going to be hot tonight?
I'm putting the hot in it.
If it's not hot, it'll be when you get there.
Me and my cowboy hat.
Oh, too hot.
Hot and country.